Ta-da! What's up? Happy Wednesday, you guys.
Yeah. Got good drinks tonight.
Yeah, these are delicious. I
Yeah.
might have said it might be dangerous because I might be like sucking them down really
dude.
quickly.
Went to the liquor store to go respy on the damn booze. We kind of went on a Pinnacle vodka kick. Got some of that. You know, last week I got some of that whipped cream vodka. It was mixed with orange juice to make creamsicle.
I had some cherry as well.
Yeah, the cherry was good. But then I looked over there and they had coconut vodka. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, man, that'd be really good. Shit. That'd be really good in that pineapple nectar.
Pineapple juice, yeah.
It's actually pineapple nectar.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And because you can get that stuff from, I guess it's from, I don't know where it's from, Honduras or something. You can get a big old thing of juice for like $1. It's good too.
Now, yeah, it's what's that brand?
Oh shit, I forgot.
I can see the label.
One of them's Goya, but that's Spain.
Yeah.
So it's not that one. It's the other one. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, man, that shit is good, man.
It is really good.
Pinnacle coconut vodka
in
pineapple juice with ice.
Yeah,
fuck, man,
it's really good.
I'm trying to think of what else that would go with. It's gonna be good Coca-Cola.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of lime juice in there.
Yeah, something.
Do they have a Coke that has like a lime? What the fuck am I thinking of?
I think they did. It'd be good in something.
I mean, isn't coconut and lime good together?
Well, no. Yeah, it's like a Thai flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what everybody's doing.
Coconut and peanut butter vodka.
Got David in there. Matt's in there. Oracle. Mrs. Evans already partied.
That's one of my favorite. Like,
Ken's in there. Tammy. T's in there. She's going yo yo yo. Happy Wednesday.
Uh-oh, here comes Feeky.
Oh, so you want to throw the door open and just walk in.
Here comes trouble.
Athena. Bee's Nest in there. Gonna send Bee's Nest a bunch of shirts. So we got some extra large.
Yeah, I just ordered a big shipment of 75 blank shirts. And I still have some.
Yeah.
It's just I was running out of some sizes.
Yeah.
So I had to get like a whole bunch of new blank ones.
Yeah.
And then we'll do some new designs and slap them on there.
Evidently, she's T says she just got done watching Justice League. I keep hearing it's good. She got burned out on comic book stuff. She forgot to see Red Sun. It's Sun like S-O-N, not S-U-N. But she did watch Empty Man. She loved it. Yeah, Empty Man was good.
It was really good. Yeah, we watched it last night.
Yeah, Empty Man was kind of like a Cronenberg flick.
Well, I kind of liked because a couple people had recommended it to us, and I had been seeing like some buzz about it, like a lot of the horror review shows and shit that I saw. Like I'd seen that a bunch of them had reviewed it, and it looked like from the expressions in the thumbnail that they were really digging it and stuff. And I was just kind of like, well, I can't watch any of the videos because I don't want to ruin the movie. But I did want to get around to watching it. What I liked about it, and I won't spoil it for people because I think it's better to go into it not really knowing where it's going, because I didn't. And so I thought that was like really cool. But I will say that I did like how it started out as kind of like one thing, because the description says something about like an urban legend, which it does have that in it. But then it kind of goes off in unexpected directions.
Yeah.
Like you said, it has a little bit of a Cronenberg-y kind of thing, has a little bit of a cosmic horror kind of thing.
Look at this. Look.
But that's all. What's she doing? What's she doing? Is she laying on her?
Yeah. Shit's ridiculous. She's laying on her back in the running position with her head looking up. I wish I could put the camera on there.
I mean, you could, but it might like...
She's just looking ridiculous.
I think she does.
Man.
She does that. I think is because every time she does that, like we react to it, like
we
laugh at her, so she knows that gets attention. She's like, "Look, I'm being cute over here."
Yeah, she knows what it does. I
mean, because she did that to me the other day. She just did it like right in the middle of the floor.
She attacks my rucksack, tries to fucking tear up on it when I come out of the shower because she knows I have a towel. And if she does that, then I'll throw the towel on her and wrestle. She wants to fucking wrestle constantly. She loves the towels. And the whole you coming out of the shower with a towel, she runs into. We got a walk-in closet with all the shit. She goes in the walk-in closet. And she's it's on now. It's on. She starts doing stuff that's bad.
Yeah.
So you'll punish her because you can't really punish her. You know, and you just, she loves to wrestle. She's going. She pretends like it's a huge epic fight, like a big struggle.
That's like her favorite thing. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You get out of the shower, like even before you get out of the shower, when someone's in the shower, she'll like you'll see her like go like by the shower, and she'll go meow.
Yeah,
like
you
come
get
on.
into position. Get into position.
And then she goes in the closet and waits.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking funny. Yeah.
She likes to wrestle with you, like with the towel. When I go in there, she's like, "Mama, mama."
Yeah, she wants. Yeah.
She wants me to like sit down on the closet floor, and she like lays up against my
She's at Spock's
legs
feet right now.
Oh, is she? Can you see her?
No, she walked away.
Oh, okay. She's like, nope. Now I'm all like self-conscious about it. So she's like laying back there, all like, ooh.
Yeah.
She was fucking with Spock a few minutes ago before we turned the show on. Oh my god, she's like so fucking funny. Yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit about Path Kitty. Have I told the saga of Path Kitty on the show yet?
I don't know.
I don't remember if I thought I remembered like mentioning it, but when the path that I walk on, there's this kitty that is always kind of sitting out there, like by the bushes or on the path or whatever. I'm pretty sure it belongs to, there's like a house and it's behind like this high wooden fence, but there's a hole in the fence, so you know the cat can get out, and they have chickens too, so sometimes the chickens get out. But so this cat has just been like kept coming out, and I keep seeing her or him. I'm pretty sure it's a her. And so a couple days ago, I got kind of I was like, oh, I wonder if the kitty's like really friendly. She doesn't like run away from people or anything like that. She either just like ignores them or just kind of sits there looking at you. And so I stopped next to her one day and I was like, hey, kitty. And the kitty like looked up at me and went, meow. So I bent down and started petting, and she was like, all right, I'm dealing with this. And then like she did that for a long time. And then there's this other woman that's always like jogging on the path. I see her all the time. And she stopped and she was telling me about, she's like, she was petting the cat too. And she's like, man, I see this cat like every day, and I have 6 cats and all this other stuff. So we were talking about that. And then I keep seeing this cat like pretty much every day. And then today, the cat was sitting like in the middle of the path, and it was like watching me. It was like watching me as I walked up. And then I was walking up, and then the cat like came walking up to me. I was like, meow. And I was like, hey, what's up? And I was petting the cat. The cat is just like swishing around my legs and stuff, like, hey, you're my friend. You're my friend. And then I noticed that the cat she looks okay. Like she looks healthy, but from petting her, she seems a little skinny. Not like starving skinny, but skinny.
She's trying to say she wants to take the cat. She wants to take
And her hair she's like a long-haired cat. She's a little bit like Beijing, and her hair is kind of matted. And even that other woman that she stopped today too when we were talking about the cats, and she said the same thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell her, don't mess with it. It's not your cat. It's a barn cat.
I know.
That's a barn cat. There's a barn right there
tempting.
with horses and cows. And
yeah, it's like a little farm.
Yeah. We've had lots of barn cats over the time, you know, especially when my mom was deep in the horse business. We had barn cats. You can't take them out of the barn. That's where they live. They live in a barn. They fucking track down all the mice and the rats. And the only thing that was kind of bad about it is in the area that you were in, it was hard for a barn cat. Usually didn't make it to 6 or 7 years because eagles got them. There's lots of fucking bald eagles in Florida. The eagles get them. Well, you assume the eagles get them. You just don't find them. Like, where'd that cat go? When you'd see eagles all around, you know, so we just assumed the eagles were getting them. But, you know, they make the mistake of going out into an open field. You know, that's death. That's where the eagles are looking, in those open fields. Got to stay up around the barn, keep overhead cover, you know. But that's a barn cat. If you take it, they'll just buy another one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wish someone would brush her hair though. Because her hair just seems kind of matted. It's not real bad, but it just seemed like... I was thinking about that. I think tomorrow I'm going to take some treats down with me and maybe a comb.
You could take a little bowl with you and put the treats in a bowl and put them by the little exit where she comes out of the...
Yeah, because there's like a little thing with a little bench right there by the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she doesn't go far. She's always like, I don't see her every day. I see her most days, but if I see her, she's always in that same exact area, like right there by that house and by the fence.
Yeah.
And right by the bench.
Yeah, Oracle knows what the deal is. Fucking husband's grandparents have barn cats. It's a working animal. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel bad and I wish somebody would brush her hair, that's all.
Yeah.
And she seems a little skinny. So, like I said, I think maybe tomorrow if I go for a walk tomorrow, I'll take some treats with me and then see. Because for a while, like I was, petting the cat for a while, and then I had to go, and I was like, and I walked, and she like walked alongside me for like a really long time. I'm like, hey, where are we going? You going with me? Because she like kept going. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so you're just gonna follow me home. I was going away from the house though. I was.
They like being barn cats or farm cats. They like that.
Aw.
That's a good life for a cat. I mean, they have shelter. They go in the barn.
Yeah, that's true.
They're getting fed all the time.
I guess
They just live outside.
I just, you know how I am though, because I was talking to that lady and she was just.
If you want to call the barn outside, because the barn isn't really outside.
Yeah.
It's got a roof.
And that's actually a pretty nice farm.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Yeah.
They have a couple cows. They have some chickens. They have a couple of horses, and I don't know how many acres it is, but it's like the house is nice, and they have like a really really nice little red barn. It looks like the classic little red barn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like right by the fence. So I'm guessing she probably lives in there. Because like I said, I don't think she lives inside because nobody brushes her. But, the lady was like telling me today, she's like, you want to take that kitty home, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I kind of do. But I know I better not. You know what I mean? It's like she's not wearing a collar or anything, but still, I don't know. This is why we always put a collar on Pookie when she goes out in the backyard, just in case somebody gets the idea. It's like, look at this cute little kitty. I'm just going to take her. So, I know how that is. All right. So what do you have to say, Thomas?
I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, last week Jenny wanted to adopt the gray kitty. This week the barn kitty.
Yeah,
I want to adopt all the kitties.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Ridiculous.
I'm not sure who that other gray kitty belongs to. The one that is
that cat.
The one that is Pookie's friend.
That one comes and goes, which tells me that's in a house. That cat's coming from a house.
Probably, yeah. And that cat looks pretty well cared for.
Yeah.
She's kind of chubby.
So somebody was asking earlier on. I know we got to get on a subject because a lot of people don't want to hear about cats, even though cats are the most popular on YouTube. I put on those damn cat videos and can't stop watching the fucking cat videos, and I get mad. My testosterone says stop watching the fucking kitty videos. You got
why?
To watch. It's just
there's nothing wrong with kitty videos.
I'm just saying, there's a certain amount of just.
I saw one yesterday.
Kitty intolerance
of a little girl kitty named Nathan that liked to swim in the ocean.
Starts taking you down a sentimental path. You don't want to go that way too far down that sentimental path.
Why not? You might turn into a woman.
You might turn into a woman. You might lower your.
You might grow a vagina.
Might do something like that.
There's nothing.
Might stop anabolic process.
There's nothing inherently feminine about liking cats, Thomas.
Nah.
Anyway. You love Pookie, right?
Yeah, of course. Let me tell my story. I'm trying to tell stories. I'm an entertainer. Okay? I'm trying to entertain. You're trying to get reason out of me when I'm entertaining, and reason is not entertaining. Shit that's reasonable, that's not entertaining. When have you seen an action movie that was reasonable? When have you seen an entertaining movie that was reasonable? All that shit's unreasonable. If the shit's reasonable, it's realistic. If it's realistic, it's fucking boring. Okay? So I'm just trying to tell stories and entertain people that pay us money.
Yeah.
For us to help them fucking.
Well, I was being entertaining too. I said that you were gonna. I said that you were gonna grow a vagina. That's pretty entertaining.
Some new shit with the UFOs. Okay.
Yeah. Why is everybody asking
People
me about that?
People are asking about UFOs.
Now, does anybody know what the hell that said? Because I didn't have time to check.
Last I heard, they're going to release some more UFO stuff that they know more, or that they have more evidence that they haven't really talked about, but it's becoming declassified. We're talking about evidence that came from fighter pilots, and there was like ground radar type confirmation, similar to the one that happened with the ship. You know what I mean? The flying Tic Tac UFO, whatever. Which I believe that pilot that saw that, and he had a lot of confirmation from other people. And there was video footage of it, from his fucking camera pod and stuff. So it is strange aircraft. And, like I told you guys, my granddad was in Isfahan working for Grumman Aerospace. And I think it was either Grumman or at that time, I think it was Grumman. And they were executing a contract on the F-14 Tomcat for the Shah of Iran. So my granddad and almost all of my aunts actually grew up in Isfahan, Iran. They lived there for a long time. My aunts grew up there. My granddad actually, he's half Syrian, which I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah, which is, I guess it's kind of funny, that, I guess that would make me fucking, 1/8 Middle Eastern. But
yeah, what is that, 1/8? Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks. But my understanding was that his mom was a Syrian Christian.
Yeah.
It might have had something to do. There's some genocides and stuff that was going on over there around that time.
Regrettably, I do not know a lot of the history of the area.
Right. And anyway, while they were there, they had that Tehran UFO sighting. I talked about it on one of the other shows here. Now, my granddad didn't see it, but he knew about the occurrence. He'd heard about it.
Yeah.
And one of the intelligence communities came to Grumman and showed them satellite data of one of the spy satellites had picked up an object in that area of where that report had happened, moving away at like Mach 10 plus. They wanted to know if they were working on any kind of secret aircraft with a high Mach ability, and they were like, no, because that would have been illegal. I guess they were suspect that maybe Grumman was secretly developing something for the Shah without telling the U.S. government.
Which, that's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah. But my granddad was evidently convinced of it. And I didn't hear it directly from him, but I heard about that through Lois.
Yeah.
But my granddad was convinced that the Iranian Air Force had seen an actual extraterrestrial craft of some sort. It wasn't man-made.
Yeah.
No, not with that performance capabilities and not with what it did. He was convinced. That's odd, And my granddad was contracted for a lot of those big companies, including, he was on the Saturn project with Saturn V rocket, and also worked for General Atomics on that what was that thing? That project, the nuclear spacecraft. What was that thing called?
Oh shit, man.
Project.
I don't know.
They had this craft that you could launch it from the Earth. It was like it was about the size of a 20 or 30-story building, and it was just solid steel. It was like a couple of damn submarines. That's how much it weighed, and it would throw nuclear pellets off the back of it. Little handheld, little like kind of like half a damn Campbell soup can. Little atomic bombs. It'd throw them out the back like 3 or 4 of them a second, and it would fucking rise up out of the atmosphere, and it could get to Mars in just a few weeks and get to Jupiter in a couple months. It was like, what was that thing called? Project Orion, I think it was. Sound right?
Oh,
Orion.
I don't know. All I know
the Orion spacecraft.
Is that Elvis guy.
Yeah, Orion. Yeah. It's the Orion spacecraft.
The reincarnation of Elvis.
But they're talking about that there's some more stuff they want to talk about, or that they want to show, but I don't have the details. Maybe they released it. The last I'd heard, it hadn't been released yet.
Yeah, somebody said it wasn't getting released till June 1st. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but I guess that's kind of the scuttlebutt that's going around, that they're going to release like new shit about it.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, and Tila asked if anybody in the comments had ever seen a UFO. Tom keeps wanting to see one.
Yeah, never have seen one. I've seen a poltergeist.
He keeps leaving
the death experience. I've been leaving the shit open so I can see it.
He leaves in the bedroom.
He's telling all my fucking secrets.
That's not a secret, is it?
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say, we don't have any secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like a sliding glass door, like in the bedroom out to the patio, and you can see kind of the backyard and the fence and stuff.
Yeah.
And he leaves the curtains open at night so he can look out there, like while he's laid in bed, and hopefully he sees a UFO.
Yeah. Yeah, Tila, you called it, man. Project Orion. You're right. It was Project Orion. My granddad was on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still haven't seen one.
Yeah, I didn't know though, because that project had been classified for a long fucking time. I didn't know about that until he was long retired and an old man, and heard that through like aunts and uncles that he was on that. And most of what he believed I heard from aunts and uncles. I didn't really know him all that much. I met him a few times. I didn't really like the guy, be true. Religious nut, which it's a strange strange situation. All those defense contractors from that era, they didn't like to recruit people from big universities. They liked to recruit real talented people from the smaller religious colleges because they wouldn't rat. They wouldn't rat. They were patriotic and they would keep their fucking mouths shut. You couldn't trust people from Ivy League schools. They were too commies. They were too communist. And if you gave them a secret, they'd sell it to the Soviets. So they got them from Christian schools. True.
All right.
You don't believe?
No comment. No, I believe that they thought that.
That did happen.
I just don't know if that's how shit would have gone down.
Nuclear. Hey, I'm just telling you the truth. All right. Because nuclear secrets kept appearing in the Soviet Union, and they came from people that worked on the damn nuclear projects, and then they'd find out later that they were part of communist groups that had come out of universities, and they were working in physics, and that they were selling these secrets to the Soviets. So anything that was secret, they tried to keep that away from anything, from anybody who was anybody who could have been in any kind of communist party when they were a kid. That's just telling you the truth. That's how it was. Those intelligence agencies did not play back then. Back in the 50s and 60s? Fuck no.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Jenny, Sandra says Jenny has maybe seen one. I saw something, but I don't think it was an extraterrestrial spacecraft. When I first saw it, I might have told this story before, but I was driving home. I used to work at night and in Daytona Beach, and I was driving back to work from my lunch hour because I guess I'd gone home for lunch because I didn't live that far away. So it was like maybe 9 o'clock at night, and I saw something up in the sky that I didn't think it was a UFO though. I thought that it was the planet killer asteroid. That's what it looked like. It looked like a big fireball
coming straight at you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like it was coming like right at the, and I was like, oh shit. That's the extinction event right there. Like I was wigging out, and I was just like, I rushed back to work, and I'm like, you guys, like fucking asteroids gonna hit the fucking planet. We're all dead or whatever. And then like I looked on the internet, and it was like nothing happened. I don't know what the fuck it was. I mean, the first thing I thought of, was a plane had exploded. That was the first thing I thought of. And then when I was like looking at it, because I saw it for quite a while, and I was like, no man, I think that's a fucking asteroid, or like a meteor. And I was like, and that's really big. So I still don't know what it was. Nobody else ever seemed to see it. Nobody else said anything about seeing anything weird in the sky or like anything exploding or anything like that. So I'm not real prone to hallucinations, so I don't know what the fuck that was that I saw. But
I never saw anything like that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I've seen enough weird shit in my lifetime, the weird paranormal stuff that I saw, out of body experiences and near death experiences and poltergeists and precognition and dreaming true and stuff like that. But I always wanted to see a UFO, a real one, not a fake one, Some of that shit's bullshit. But some of the accounts just couldn't have been faked. There were too many damn witnesses. Like the Phoenix Lights incident. That happened. But there was also some disinformation campaigns to cloud it. You know what I mean? Like, the Air Force went up and dropped flares. And then came back and said, no, you just saw flares. I did see a video of some flares.
Yeah.
All right.
But that wasn't what people were saying.
That's not what people were describing.
Yeah.
All right. There's a bunch of way to put out disinformation and to cloud a damn topic so you don't have to talk about it, or just put some confusion in the topic to make something deniable. It's funny, after something's happened, you can use mind control to get people to believe they saw something that they didn't see, or that you can get other people who didn't see it not to believe in it, even though it was something that really happened. You can't trust any witness testimony.
Well, memories are fallible.
Yeah.
If you suggest like one thing enough times, people will
start to believe it.
Not everybody, obviously, but some people will start to.
Yeah, depends on willpower. And all that shit goes back to like MK Ultra, when the CIA was trying to figure out how to do mind control, and they researched all that shit. They know how to fuck with your mind and fuck with public opinion. And when George Bush too made that what was that? they made propagandizing the American public legal inside that Patriot Act. And the big news networks have been doing that ever since that day. And it's every year it's just worse and worse and worse. And that's why, you know, a lot of people just don't believe it. It's unwatchable. You can just propagandize, and eventually it kind of gives diminishing returns. I mean, the Soviets were doing it for so long, you know. Eventually, the average Soviet citizen didn't even read their newspaper. Only like real hardcore believers in the system did. But shit, what was the name of that news? Pravda.
Yeah.
Pravda fucking had a just towards the end of the Soviet Union just had like a shit reputation. It was just mouthpiece for the fucking the CCP, you know, or not CCP. That's Chinese. The mouthpiece for the USSR, for Russian Communist Party. You know, it just would say just blatant untruths, and even the Soviet citizens knew it was just not true. You know, North Korea doing the same thing. They tell the North Koreans that they live in the richest country in the world. And they're like, no, man, they're like the poorest country in the world. I think there's only like one country that's even poorer than it, you know? And so, you know, you can only stretch people, and you can only twist people's minds for so long before they realize they're being gaslit.
Yeah, and then after a while, they're just like, whatever.
They're like, yeah, whatever.
I'm not listening to you anymore.
Right. That's what. That's kind of. The Union is reaching the end of its cycle. It's just part of history and nature.
It'll be all right. Fourth drawer down says, I've seen space junk burning up in the atmosphere, and that was mildly alarming. Maybe that's what I saw. I mean, it was for sure like a big fireball. Like, big enough that it was like, holy shit, if that's an asteroid and hits the Earth, we're fucked.
There's a famous film of a meteor going through the atmosphere parallel to the horizon, through the desert. Somebody filmed it.
Thank you,
Remember
Zach.
that? Back in the 70s?
Yeah.
Thanks, Zach. Go ahead and read his thing.
It says, when it comes to world-ending stuff, the idea of Yellowstone erupting and the fallout from it is such an upsetting idea to me. And that's actually not that crazy, because, you know.
There's all these, you know what I mean? They make a lot of money, and those you can really raise a lot of money through fundraising through all these little fucking bullshit.
What's up, Hulk?
Bullshit disasters that could happen, you know? Remember, there was acid rain and all this other crap, and now all this weird fucking global climate change and shit. None of that's fucking. All that shit would pale in comparison to fucking something far more likely, which would be Yellowstone erupting. Massive fucking underwater volcanoes, or meteor strikes. There's just all kinds of shit that's just it's happened in the past. They had I think it was, what was it? In the 1800s, one of those damn fucking islands blew up. Remember that? And they had like 3 or 4 really hard winters, and I think the daytime was orange for like 4 or 5 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like in the 1860s, I think.
Yeah.
And here in the United States, nobody knew what happened. They didn't even know what it was. And it was some volcanic eruption that happened somewhere.
Well, you know, that might have been, was that in 1816?
It sounds about right.
Because that was the year without a summer?
Yeah.
Because there was like a really bad like volcano, and that was kind of like that's tied in with the whole Mary Shelley and Lake Geneva kind of thing. That's why the weather was so crap.
4 years. It was cold.
Yeah, it was a long time. Well, because like I said, when a big volcano erupts, like all of the ash and shit like that like goes up into the atmosphere and like essentially blocks the sun out. Yeah,
it was like orange for 4 or 5 days. They didn't know what the hell happened.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't back then.
They didn't know. Yeah, everybody in the world thought it was a damn local event. No, it was something that happened way out somewhere near. I don't know, where was it? Somewhere. It was out in the ocean.
I can't even remember. Shit, man, I can't remember what it was.
Somewhere near Greece or something.
God damn it! What the fuck volcano was it? I've looked it up like enough times because, like I said, it was one of those things. Why 1816? Why they call it a year without a summer? And like I said, that was one of the reasons. Thank you, Aaron. Happy Wednesday. Missed a few live shows. Pouring wine soon. Yeah, get on in there. I'm already halfway through my drink.
Iceland. I don't think it was Iceland.
Well, now I can't.
I think it was somewhere near Indonesia, wasn't it?
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't know. Maybe we're not talking about the same event. I'm talking about the one that happened that made the weather suck.
Yeah.
For like 4 years. Yeah,
4 or 5 years.
It was like a few years.
Yeah, and then there for 1 year there wasn't even a summer. It stayed winter.
Yeah,
for a
1816.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it depended on what part of the world. It wasn't like freezing cold in some parts of the world, but it just never got warm. And so they didn't really have a growing season that year.
Yeah.
And the weather was all fucked up. Because like I said, that was the reason that volcano, indirectly, was the reason that we have the novel Frankenstein. Because Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, all them, they were stuck inside the house because the weather was so shit. They couldn't go outside because it was like pouring down rain. It was like a torrential rains for like days and days at a time. So they were stuck inside the house and they were just like, well, fuck it. We're just going to write ghost stories. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
I still want to do a show about that. Like I said, I did a whole fucking board game about it over there.
There's all kinds of weird events that happened. They had that damn Tunguska event out in Russia where it blew all the trees down. Nobody knew it was.
Yeah, the Tunguska
Yeah.
event.
Nobody knew what that was for a long, long time. There was a nuclear explosion happened out there, and that was before the atomic bomb. That was even before, I think that was right after World War One, wasn't it? Or before World War
Yeah,
One?
I want to say it was like early nights, like
Early
1919 or something like that.
Right. I think it
Can't
was
remember.
after the Communist Revolution, I think, or during the first part of it. But they didn't know what that was until a lot later, and it was just a fucking meteor came down, and it reached critical mass, and it exploded like a nuclear bomb. But it was above the surface of the Earth. It exploded in the air.
Yeah.
Some people saw it. They didn't know what it was. Blew trees down for fucking miles.
Yeah, it's weird. There's pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tila said, wasn't there a movie about the creation of Shelley's Frankenstein? Yeah, there was one called Gothic, which Ken Russell directed, which is on Tubi, actually, if you want to watch it. And there was one called Haunted Summer that had Julian Sands. And actually, there's a new one that they added on Shudder called A Nightmare Wakes that I think is about... I haven't watched it yet. It doesn't have very good reviews because like a lot of people are like, oh, it's so boring. But, that doesn't mean it's not good. But I'll get around to watching it one of these days.
Saksin is Tambora in Indonesia, just like I said. Remember? Indonesia.
Yeah.
Tambora. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably.
It was like a volcano that blew.
Yeah. Yeah, Gothic is a really, really good movie. I keep putting it in the poll like to do the review of it because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's still on Tubi that you can watch it. I can't remember who the fuck's in it. Shit.
Read what Maria said.
Where is that? Oh, in the field in the army at Fort Hood on 2 a.m. guard duty, small meteorite swept past me into the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't investigate because we were on light discipline. Later, a herd of longhorns scared me more.
Yeah. That's weird. Meteorite went right past you, hit the ground. They had one out somewhere. I think it might have been in Alabama, where somebody was sitting in their front living room watching television, and a meteor came down and hit the couch right next to him.
Remember that? It came like right through their roof.
Yeah, it blew everything up all around, out, fucking vaporized.
Can you fucking imagine?
Vaporized shit. They all lived, but there were fucking wood splitters everywhere. And
can you imagine if we were just like sitting here right now and a fucking meteorite?
Yeah.
Oh, shit my pants. Holy crap.
Yeah. And there's old fat lady. Old fucking fat white lady sitting there and a fucking meteor. It's in her moo-moo.
In her moo-moo.
Yeah. Late 60s.
See, that's kind of like an argument right there for always kind of like looking nice. Don't be just like laying around in your moo-moo or whatever, because you never know when a meteor is going to hit the house.
Yeah.
And the news crews are going to show up.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there in your moo-moo with a big old fucking bucket of Cheetos in your lap or some shit like that. That's with my fucking luck. That's what happened.
Back when moo-moos were sexy.
Were they?
I guess bitches wore them. Maybe
bitches wore moo-moos because they're comfortable. They don't wear them. They don't wear them because they're sexy.
I don't know what they were thinking.
I got news for you.
Thing,
I got news for you. When dudes aren't around,
women do whatever.
Women just like wear comfortable shit because like a lot of the stuff that's like sexy is not comfortable.
Not that comfortable. Yeah.
No, so it's like if nobody's gonna see you.
Yeah.
Shit, man. If you're just gonna be around by yourself and shit like that, you're just gonna like lay around in like fucking sweatpants and
T says wear clean underwear.
not shave your legs or nothing
Yeah.
like that. Why would you? You know what I mean?
T says wear clean underwear.
Right. See, you should
Yeah.
always wear clean underwear for that exact very reason.
Yeah.
You never know.
I
What
bet
meteors can-
T walks around a big old fucking stiletto platform, diamond studded fucking pumps, and tight pants. She dressed up like fucking colored hair and stuff. You know what I mean? Purple hair. She looked like what's her name? Nicki Minaj. Bet Nicki Minaj.
This all. Well,
Nicki Minaj outfit.
well, see,
She
that's
kind of had a little bit of a new wave kind of look.
a little
I like
bit.
Nicki Minaj. She was cute. She got fat though. She got fat.
Yeah, Tila says, no
Yeah.
dude around, take off that dang bra. Right?
Yeah, yeah. That underwire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like poking you in the tit all the time.
Jenny got internal bra though. She doesn't really need bras.
Yeah, I do though, because I hate
Yeah.
to say, but when you have big boobs,
Yeah.
they get all fucking sweaty under there.
That's true, I guess.
It's like pretty.
Yeah.
They're always like flopping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like even when I go out to walk, you have to have like that.
The T says I got ASP. Yeah, I know I got ASP. I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
One thing I will never understand is that I always liked, I kind of like the look of those like really long like fake nails and shit.
Mhm.
But the few times that I've actually like bought some and worn them out, the first time I go to
Yeah.
the bathroom, they all
She
fall
had,
in the
yeah,
toilet.
yeah, she had a problem with them. It's,
Well, because it's like you have to go like that, like to
Yeah.
get your pants down so you can go to the bathroom, and then like they just go doink,
you gotta,
and then they fall in the toilet.
man, you need to hang out with black girls.
So after that, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not. Well,
black girls.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing about it is that why make everything harder for yourself? Like, why? I can't even. I can't touch my phone.
She
I
was fucking
can't.
ghetto fabulous.
I
man.
can't like pull my
Yeah.
pants up. I can't. It's like, why the fuck would I want to just make everything difficult for myself? Like
Fucking funny.
I'm klutzy enough as it is.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm klutzy enough as it is. I don't need to like give myself further handicaps.
She dolls up pretty good though. Yeah, she dolls up
I
pretty good.
clean up nice.
She dolls up pretty good when they're in their goth outfits and stuff. It's just that you kind of have to balance out the fucking tomboy with the sex bomb attributes of fucking Jenny, because Jenny's actually a tomboy. She's a tomboy, but she has sex bomb attributes.
I like to think that I'm a nice balance of both things.
You're more reasonable than the average sex bomb. True.
See, that's
A
what
lot
I
of
mean.
sex bombs are just
I have that, but I don't have like all
They're
the
high-
downsides where
Yeah.
I'm not real high
they're
maintenance.
high maintenance, high hormonal imbalances of either too much estrogen or too much testosterone, difficult to deal with. There's no reason or logic there. It's just all
I mean,
gimme, I want.
yeah,
I
see,
want.
I'm
Yeah,
not at all
they're
like
one of
that.
those.
I'm pretty chill.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I have a,
You're like a man. You're like dealing with a man.
Thanks.
She hates that shit though, but she hates that shit because she thinks she's a feminist. But I'm like, no, you're not a feminist. It's more like you're just kind of like a dude.
Am I like a dude?
Yeah, in certain ways you are. In certain ways you are.
I am kind of like a dude.
Not in all ways. but-
Not in the disgusting like
No.
I'm scratching my balls type
No,
ways. as
but
I
no,
scratch
you're
them right
real
here.
reasonable, which that's very uncommon in women.
Well, the thing about it though,
that's actually why we stayed together, was that you were reasonable.
the thing about it though
Yeah.
is sometimes certain types of women, because I've been friends with a lot of women throughout my life, I have found that 90% of women, at least 90% of women that I've been friends with, are completely and utterly reasonable. However, I think sometimes they act up in certain ways to get stuff out of dudes. So that's not exactly like what they're really like when they're not around dudes. Like when they're around other chicks, they're they're just normal. But I think sometimes they're putting shit on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't do that because I'm not real good at being like fake. You know what I mean? I'm not real good at like pretending to be something I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, like I said, that's why this show is like it did. This is us like unfiltered. We're just this is exactly what we're like, whether the camera's on.
I
or
got
not.
Tila talking about her nails, talking about how hard those acrylics are. See,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her talking about her hair next. You get a black woman talking about her hair, that shit go on fucking ever. She's like, which hair are you talking about? That hair, this hair, that hair. She's got a whole closet of hair.
I need more fucking wigs, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Today, I was thinking to
She was
myself.
telling you that you needed wigs so because it'd be better for me because it's like a different woman in bed every time.
Well, yeah, see, that's,
I was like, get that wig and those shoes. Come over here.
See, man, I got to do so much work. Like, to get, you know what I mean? But
I'm the one that's got to go to the gym, though. I was going to sit around healing up.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. You don't go to you go to the gym maybe once a week or twice a week.
Twice.
Twice a week.
Twice. Because the rest of the time is just, oh, God. Although, I tell you what, to you fucking dudes out there, know what I know now, I would have went on TRT at fucking 40. I would have went on at 40. After I saw my blood work at 51, I would have said, shit, I should have been on this shit 10 years ago. And then, like, just what a difference it makes just in recovery and mental fucking acuity and just feel so much more positive. You don't feel that fucking damn hand of death. And
yeah, because you were getting a little unreasonable.
Yeah, I was getting like, I ain't gonna make it. Yeah, and it was just like the past maybe 4 months, 5 months, but it was slowly getting worse. You know what I mean? It's not like suicidal. It felt like something was coming to get me.
Yeah, that's what you kept saying. And I kept trying to tell you, I'm like, look, nothing's coming to get you. Like, what do you think's coming to get you? Like Bigfoot? What are you
I felt like
about?
it was like a big lion or something, or the Grim Reaper or something, or I thought fate was coming to get me.
No such thing. Thank you, Zach. Man, you just keep like
Zach,
doling out
pocket full of damn money. Shit, I'm gonna start taking off clothes here in a bit, Zach.
Really?
No.
I was like, wow, it's so early.
I'm trying to give me more money.
Zach says in high school there was a black girl fight and I didn't see it, but apparently after it was over there was just a pile of weave left behind.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
That's the weak spot. They start pulling on that fucking weave.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, you can't blame me. You got to
There's a
go
battle
after the
to fucking
vulnerable
defend the
area.
weave,
Well, that shit's not cheap, man. That's
I've
expensive.
seen videos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shit goes down on a Saturday night at the gas station when they're fucking coming there to gas up. And the fucking dudes are fucking talking shit. Then the women start talking shit. Then the women start fighting each other. Then the dudes start trying to break the
Then the girls take off their earrings.
Yeah, and the fucking shoes go flying, and the fucking titties go flopping out there. Because they only got little fucking. This is back when they had the little fucking tube tops. You know what I mean? And they were.
Tube tops.
And if you're gonna fight black girls, and I got pictures to fucking prove it. If you're gonna fight black girls, your nudity is high on her list. She can try to get your fucking clothes off. T's in there fucking laughing. She knows it's true. But the advantage is not so much to beat the other girl's ass. It's to take her weave off and to get her clothes off. I saw it.
And then take a picture.
They just start pulling. Yeah, start pulling clothes off.
Humiliation is the ultimate goal.
Exactly. So you end up with your fucking little tube skirt pulled up around your fucking midriff, with your coochie hanging out, and your fucking shoes flying. Your fucking tube top up around your neck, your weave gone, and you're rolling around on the ground out in front of the gas pumps with a fucking whole bunch of dudes laughing.
Well, yeah.
With a couple dudes trying to separate them. And then the other guys, on the video, dudes trying to stop it were being stopped by other dudes trying to prevent it from being stopped.
No.
They got the phones out. Let it play out. Your brother knows what's up. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to get the low angle and then the high angle with the camera. They know what's up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
I believe it.
Yeah. On World Star Hip Hop, they'll fucking put that shit on there.
But yeah, I was just thinking today, even though I just literally like a couple weeks ago like bought a bulk thing of black hair dye, today I was thinking to myself, maybe I should go get some bleach and some red. Because I was in Walgreens the other day getting some medicine or something. And I saw the red hair dye and I was just kind of like, man, I know I've been talking about going back to red. Maybe I should do that. But I have to bleach this. Like, I think last time I did it, I had to bleach it like 3 times, maybe 4 times before it was like light enough to get the red to stay in there.
Yeah, and the only thing I didn't like about that red is that, man, it just gets all over the pillowcases.
Oh, it stains.
Stains up all the pillowcases.
Yeah.
It's almost just...
Maybe I should buy some red pillowcases.
Or you know, it'd be easier just buy a fucking really good red wig.
I have been thinking about doing that too, because I was just kind of like, maybe I should just get some wigs.
Or extensions.
Maybe I'll just get some wigs.
Yeah.
Because then I
It's
can
a
just
lot
kinda...
easier. Remember how hard that was? And you had to I had to help you do that shit every 2 or 3 weeks. Fucking
No, I
touch
did
that.
it every week.
Every week to touch that. That's right.
Because
touch that
the red will fade. Because I don't want fucking pink ass hair. You know what I mean?
It looks like shit quick.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like bright, vibrant red. So if you
Yeah.
wanted it to be bright, vibrant red, you pretty much... What I would do was that I would only wash it like 2 or 3 times a week. And also, like, when I was in between washes, I would comb dye through it and then kind
Yeah.
of just rinse it and condition it. You know what I mean? So there would always be red dye in there, so it would stay.
And you had the sides and the back of your head shaved. I was constantly shaving back in those days.
Uh-huh.
And it was still a lot to keep up with.
It was, yeah. I have a lot of hair.
Yeah. She constantly sheds hair.
And I just cut it shorter.
Yeah.
I mean, just for that very reason.
She
Like,
had a lot of hair.
one day I woke up because it was almost down to my butt at this point, and I was just kind of like, man, I'm so fucking sick of this hair. It's like it weighs a ton, and it's just always every time I wash it, like big clumps fall out. Every time I brush it, all big clumps fall out. And I'm just kind of like, and it's always been like that. And it just seems like I never have thinner hair. You know what I mean? There's just so much of it. It's like never ending.
Yeah.
So the other day I just cut it to my shoulders because I was like sick of dealing with it and it was like heavy. But, you know, even then it's like I still just like have big chunks of fucking hair. Like every time I run my hand through my hair, like I have hair on my fingers.
T and DJ Maniac are fucking talking about, I think they're talking about how much actual weave you find laying around on the ground in the hood. And T says you don't know what it is until you come right up on it and you get there and look, oh, okay.
Like, what is that? Is that a dead animal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking funny.
Zach says, I wish I was a natural redhead, man. Yeah. It's sad because it's like a lot of people, I left my hair my natural red color for a really long time. But then it was just easier. I don't know, because I think I had started dyeing it black like after I met you, right? So I don't even think you've ever seen me with my natural hair color other than like pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know. I left it like that for a long time. And then I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to start dyeing it black. Because I thought that when I got older, like it would just start going gray and it wouldn't be pretty anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Didn't never happen though.
Well, I don't know. It might be gray
I
now.
don't think so. I'd see it in the roots. I don't think it is.
I just have like I have little gray hairs, like sometimes like right here, like by my ears. But I don't know. It doesn't seem too gray up here. It's just kind of reddish. But I don't know. I've been coloring it so long.
He says it reminds her of the fake booty on the dance floor at the club years ago. I don't really know exactly. Maybe there's some kind of a booty, like what did they used to call those things that they had? They had fake booty in the 1800s. It's called a bustle.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was just kind of something that I had a Halloween costume.
Put over your butt, and then you had your skirt would go over the bustle.
Or you could also do what I had. Like I had a Halloween costume that was like a Victorian kind of looking thing.
Yeah.
And that had a bustle, but it was like outside. So you kind of like strapped it here, but it was like, it had like a frame like underneath it. Yeah.
I think all bustle was
so it like stuck out.
Yeah, it made it look like you had
had a big old butt.
I don't think the big butt is what they were going for. I think what they were going for was the optical illusion of an even smaller waist.
Everything was like, well, it was just kind of like in the 80s with those big fucking shoulder pads.
Right.
Everything was in service of making your waist look smaller.
Right. Because like that was like the main thing of whether or not you were a hottie in the 1800s is if you had a tiny corseted waist, and they would corset a waist down to where sometimes it would actually kill those women. They died from that shit.
Because it's rearranging. I mean,
all kinds of internal organs.
Your organs only have so much room to move around.
I don't think they were totally aware of how big internal organs were and what they were supposed to do anyway. They were like, just make it. And my friend Melissa, she was corseted. She did it to herself. She was real good at putting on her own corsets and everything, and would have other people put on. She just wear them for fucking days on end. And she said that it happens naturally. That without you even thinking about it, it slowly gets loose. It feels like it's getting looser. But what it is that you're actually getting smaller. You're conforming to it. And she said it happened quick, like within 6 or 7 months. She was about your height and probably about your weight, and she had a waist that was, that big around.
Shit.
Yeah. And she said she actually had to stop tightening it. You know what I mean? To put it on loose, because she was getting too dangerously small.
I think at one
It
point
was easy.
when I was still, when I was still doing the corsets a lot,
Yeah.
I think I got down to an 18-inch one.
Yeah, eventually. I think that's what happened.
I think the one I have
You
now
were-
is
you were-
24, maybe?
Yeah.
26. I can't remember.
You had just come off a real skinny phase though during that time.
Yeah,
So it
I got
wasn't
down
that
like
hard.
I got down really.
Yeah, she got down real small. You're getting back down there again, but you were even lighter then.
Yeah.
You were so light that I was saying you need to gain some weight. Remember that?
Yeah, everybody was telling me.
Yeah. So you need to gain a little bit of weight. You're too skinny.
I didn't have anorexia or anything like that,
It's
but
just-
I got down to a point where I was having heart palpitations and I had to
Yeah.
go to a cardiologist
Yeah.
because I'd been heavy and then I lost like 90 pounds or something like that in 5 months. And
your heart was like, what the fuck?
and my heart did not know what to do. It was like dun, 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 dun. I was like passing out all the time.
What's his name? Had the same thing happen to him. The dude who had that bypass.
Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost what? 300 pounds.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, he had a gastric
He lost like
Friend of
300
ours.
pounds.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, man, I think I'm going to die. My heart is yes.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
Yeah, and I said, Jenny had that same thing. You didn't lose 300. You lost 90.
No, it was 90.
It's like
somewhere
90.
around there.
Right. And it was actually a little too much. You really probably should have only lost about 60.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
but
I was just so happy because I'm like,
Right.
wow, I'm skinny. I've never been skinny
Well, you
my
said it
whole
was
entire
easy.
life.
You said once it started, it was just easy. It was just falling off.
Yeah, once I got
Yeah.
into a habit of not eating all that much, like I wasn't starving, but I was probably eating under 1,000 calories a day. And
You got
once I got used to after a couple of weeks like not eating all that much, it was like super easy and everything just
Yeah.
like fell right
I
off.
think you got down to what, 125?
118.
118?
That
Yeah.
was how low
It
down
was
I
too
got.
light.
I think I look best right around 135.
Yeah, more
That-
normal proportion.
I look like a normal size. Like
Yeah.
when I was down to 118, like people started asking me if I was like sick.
Are
or
you
something.
sick? Yeah. Remember that?
So yeah, that was like I was excited because I was just sitting
People
there.
didn't
like,
recognize
Look how skinny I am.
People didn't recognize it.
They didn't, yeah,
No.
because it didn't take very long for me to lose it.
They were like, "Who's that new girl?" And I said,
Yeah.
"That's not a new girl."
Yeah,
It's just, and
That's-
I said,
that's
"That's
that
Jenny."
same
Who
old
was
girl.
that? And I'd have to describe who that was
yeah,
because 90 pounds made a huge difference.
it really did.
You
I
were
looked
unrecognizable.
completely different.
And they would go, "That's her," and I said, "Yeah, that's her."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
And it was
That
a
crazy
trip.
time.
She lost that 90 pounds, and her skin, your skin held together and everything. You know, you couldn't tell that you had been real heavy.
Yeah,
I don't think you get away with that now. Lose that much weight. It's hard to set. It's hard to tell. Who knows what skin does at our age?
yeah,
You were younger then.
not much younger. I think
That's
that was
true.
only.
Not that much younger, was it?
Well, I think it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
9 years ago, something like that I lost all that weight. Because I mean, I was skinny when I was a little kid, but as
Yeah.
soon as I went through puberty, my body was like, hey, time for you to get fat now.
Yeah.
So I kind of chubbed out like after I was about 12 or whatever. And then I lost a bunch of weight in my 20s because I started playing soccer and shit like that. But
So
it
said she's
inches back up. And then when I moved in with him, I think I gained like 30 pounds because of his cooking.
Soph's in the car. Soph's in the car. She's just leaving the gym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See what?
Bee's Nest
See
says
what
her
they say.
boobs make up 80% of her weight. They probably do at this point.
Yeah.
They're
She
very,
got some great boobs.
they're very
The
heavy.
bitch could be fucking mesmerizing at times.
He's like, look at him moving
Yeah.
back and forth. He's so funny, especially now that you're like back out the testosterone or whatever. It's like I'll be sitting there and we'll be watching a movie or something like that, and then I see him like looking at him,
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
over like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
calling
what
me.
are you looking at?
I'm like, it's calling me. It's like, you know.
like me sitting here like a dumbass thinking it's like, do I have a booger hanging out of my nose
No,
or
I'm
something like
sitting
that?
there
What are you
looking
looking at?
Tila says
I think there's something wrong.
Tina says somebody's fake butt fell off on the dance floor and everyone laughed and danced around it. No one touched it.
Well, I would hope not. Who the hell's going to touch someone else's fake ass? I'm certainly not going to.
That's fucking funny.
Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be if you had a fake butt and it fell out and everyone saw that shit?
Yeah.
You would never you could never go back to that club ever again. You'd have to go in
Yeah.
disguise. I would.
Depends on how much of a sense of humor you had.
I mean, you would have to literally like play it off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
because I mean,
fake ass.
I've like tripped and fallen at Ibar a couple times, and a few times I've done it where I wasn't even drunk. I was just like, because I'm just real klutzy. Like I remember I fell down the stairs from the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And I was sober. I just got there. But it's just, like I said, I'm just a spaz, and I can't walk, apparently. So I fell down the fucking stairs. Luckily, it was, like, pretty early in the night, so some people saw me, but, like, not that many. Then I was just kind of like, ta-da!
I guess...
now for my next trick.
According to, this was, I guess, around 2010, 2012, they had a damn little documentary or something on the news that said some girls here in Florida got in trouble for doing booty injections on girls here, and evidently there was like an epidemic of Florida stripper girls. They were all the black girls getting the damn fake booty injections, and there was a Brazilian girl that was doing it for them, and she was putting shit in there, man, that just doesn't belong in a goddamn, doing doing basically tire repair kits. That was one.
Yeah, going to fucking Home Depot,
going to Home
getting
Depot,
some shit, and then like inject it into people's asses.
Yeah, it sounds fucking crazy. It made more sense once I looked into it to see what it was they were talking about. They had like a silicone repair kit for tires, and it had a gigantic fucking needle on it. I mean, the fucking needle was like 1/8 of an inch in diameter with like a slit cut on it. And they would stick that in some girl's ass, and it would make a huge fucking big round bubble of fucking silicone that would dry into a hard round bubble. It would be flat up against the bottom of it, but it would be like, you know what I mean? And it kind of made a solid implant inside of a girl's ass, and that's what. And then they had to sit on the shit. Imagine sitting on that thing like
you'd have to like take one of those hemorrhoid pillows everywhere you went, like with the hole in the middle. But
anyway, there's some industrial solvents involved in this shit, and it's coming out of a container that isn't sterile. Yeah. And there's a chance of fucking infection and stuff. Yeah. And it's not. That was one of the things that they were doing. Another one is they were just taking industrial silicone and they were heating it up to try to kill bacteria in there, because you don't know what it's been stored in. And then they would just put it into a damn hypodermic syringe and just inject it with needles. You know what I mean? Small, and they would just keep doing lots and lots of injections all around there. And you could get a good looking booty. If you like size, you could do it. And if you had artistic skill, you know, you could get it shaped pretty good. The problem was they said that what they were injecting in there, you know what I mean, it wasn't real consistent. For all you know, there might have been some impurities in certain batches of it that cause irritation or infection. And in that same program, they were showing them taking it out. They would just take a damn needle, a hypodermic needle, without the syringe on it, and stick it all over the ass like pin cushions, and then just rub like that and try to get it to go out that needle and come out. They were trying to drain it all out that way. And what was funny is like she's spending fucking thousands of dollars to get some doctor to get the damn silicone juice out of her booty for like $1,000, $2,000 per treatment. And I'm going like, bitch should have seen me. I could do that. I'd do that for a couple $100. Didn't take any damn skill, you know what I mean, to do that. Just rub on it, big old booty, and just I'm just getting it out of there. Don't worry about it. Rubbing on it, it's coming out.
See, here's another business that Tom can start. You can even do it
Mr.
mobile.
Booty Fixer.
Yeah, you can get a little truck.
Yeah, little booty fixer. Got all these fucking black strippers lined up out the door for fucking get booty shrinkage. Sitting in there, my mask on, my rubber gloves.
I get to design your logo.
Yeah, you can be back there with a fucking video camera, and we'll make a whole video series. Make a special fetish video series.
Oh my god.
It's called Booty Reversal.
Booty Reversal.
Some shit like that, yeah.
Back that ass up.
Back that ass up. There you go. That's what we call it. Back that ass up. Yeah.
Because you're putting it back the way
it was. Yeah.
See? I'm a fucking genius.
You're a fucking marketing genius. And we'll sell a whole fucking like fetish line of damn videos.
Oh my god.
Getting stylish with the drainage and shit.
Tila says, I don't even think you're supposed to sit down for a month or so after butt lifts or injections.
There's no telling.
How do you manage that? So you just have to like lay around on your fucking stomach all the time?
Yeah.
That sucks.
She said Tila says they recommend saline, but the thing is that saline is absorbed by the body, so it'd only be temporary. It's safe,
Yeah.
but it would. I don't think that would last, but maybe a couple days.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's some weird shit that I've seen that's appeared in some weird ass fucking porn before. I imagine fucking Zach probably knows all about this shit. This fucking perverted fucking ass. You take a damn. Okay. You take. Actually, you know, this is not a gay thing. You know, you had straight dudes that were doing this. Okay, but it's very evidently popular in the gay world too. In the fetish type
The
of bondage.
world of gay.
The world of gay. It's kind of like a fetish damn bondage thing. You take an IV bag full of saline with a fucking needle on a regular IV bag that you'd give for a person who's conked out from dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
You want the big bag of it. You take that and you stick that into a dude's nuts, and you just sit there and just let that IV bag drip down into that dude's nuts. And that dude's,
As you do.
Yeah, like you do. And that dude's fucking nuts get like the size of a damn cantaloupe. All right. And it's kind of absorbed in there, and then it starts like within about an hour or so, it all goes to his fucking rod. And that shit gets to be about 5 inches in diameter and like about 18 inches long.
Does it look like a big old beer can?
It looks bigger.
Like bigger than a beer can?
And evidently it aches like fucking crazy. But the dudes kind of get off on it. And then they try to have sex with that. Okay?
Good luck.
Now, I first heard about this at Man Race. Man Race was that goth club that had a fetish night down in Boston. And there were dudes at fucking MIT and Harvard, and so they had these Harvard medical students. They were just fucking nerdy as shit, showing up to damn fetish night, all right, in a damn G-string with their dick like that.
Okay.
And that shit was fucking gigantic, you know what I mean? Walking around semi-nude or nude with this shit.
Go and check it
Yeah.
out.
And the girls taking pictures and shit like that with them. It's ridiculous, man. This is back in the 90s. Anyway, I was up at the bar, and fucking the dude was there, and fucking he had some girls with him and shit, and that's when I fucking first met him. I says, dude, how the fuck did you do that? And he told me how he did that. And he was laughing, and he said that he and his buddies, that were all med students, right, would scare the shit out of girls by doing that on a date, and the girl didn't know, and then they'd fucking unveil that shit, and those girls would just be fucking like aghast.
Oh,
Yeah, like, what? And then they'd try to. Dudes are fucking perverted, you know what I mean? Even in Harvard, they're fucking. I think
yeah, because you think most chicks would be like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Nah, I think a lot of them did. He said that they would just be, but he
climbing out the
window.
window.
And his buddies, he and his medical buddies would like get a big charge out of the fucking reaction. You know what I mean? That the horror. Just fucking.
The horror.
It's nerd humor. You know?
I suppose. It's like, hey, look, I have a big old fucking.
That's why I first heard about that shit.
That's really funny. Well,
yeah.
You're lucky.
Because the med students knew about it.
Yeah. I mean, the one big fetish party I went to, also at a place called Man Ray, but it was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
All I remember from that one was just like the TVs playing a bunch of scat porn.
Oh, shit.
And I was kind of like, not my thing, gotta say. No judgment, but...
Thomas says, this conversation has me dying.
Oh my god. That's Thorn, not Thomas. Thorn Cezanne.
Oh, Thorn, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Almost like Damian Thorn.
Yeah.
Like the Antichrist. Big weenie of horror. Oh my god. Well, remember, like, we kind of went off on a thing, watching that porn of, like, dudes that like getting their nuts stepped on by girls in stilettos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maria says, I'm your token postmenopausal fan. There's a thing called postmenopausal redistribution of fat and know all about it. At my age, I ain't got time to try to fix it. I'd rather have a flat ass than a lots of pain at my age. Yeah. Looked into that. Small doses, like we're talking about 1/10 the dose for a male, 1/10 the dose of testosterone for a female, and Clomid. That those which are pretty cheap can actually the effects of test on a postmenopausal female is good because it aromatizes into estrogen also, which gives you a testosterone and estrogen base that you need. Having Clomid can also kickstart your pituitary gland to produce some of the other glands to make them fucking produce. Like Clomid prevents me from having heartburn. Like I can eat like a kid. I can eat anything now, and that's because of that Clomid. All my other glands are producing. So the only trade-off is that you can't. Postmenopausal women can't get that fucking real fat-laden, rounded, fucking cherub kind of look that, say, like a pregnant teenager gets. You're not gonna. That's all estrogen. Okay, you're not gonna have that estrogen look, but you can get a more athletic look, as long as you're taking hormone injections, testosterone. You'll get more athletic. You'll burn a lot of fat. You'll have better muscle definition. You can look at it. You can see photographs of what postmenopausal women look like on test. It looks good. But you just don't want to go into doses that take you into the realm of male levels of testosterone. It'll cause your voice to change. And then the next thing after that would be slight hair, facial hair. So you want to keep it within female range. But just like maybe at the higher ends of female range will really boost libido. High testosterone levels still within the female range. Exogenous through the needle. You could turn a woman into a damn sex zombie. They just want to have sex. That's it. Sex zombie. Oh, what's his name? You know what I mean? Some of these damn serial killers are weird ass trying to make a sex zombie by drilling holes in the head. No, that's not.
That was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer. No, just testosterone. Yeah, sex zombie.
Somebody sent me a thing today that said Netflix is making like a series like about Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't think it's a documentary series. I think it's like a fictionalized.
Yeah, I have to say a disclaimer though. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice.
Yeah, you better say that. We're gonna get our asses sued.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. Do your own research from reputable sources of people that's done it, and look at photographs. Look at photographs and see what it is that you're talking about. It's quite impressive. Quite impressive. What people don't have to age the way that they that you think that they do.
Well, in the way that they used to.
No,
but like I said, people aren't eating like
right.
Blue steaks and 3 martinis for lunch
anymore. Yeah, and they had no idea how the
endocrine,
back in those days, they had no idea how the endocrine system worked. When your teeth fell out, you replaced your teeth. You put false teeth back in. Okay? So you got teeth replacement. When your hormones fall out, you can put hormones back in. It's called hormone replacement. Okay? You can do that too. It's highly effective. Highly effective. And as long as you're not a fucking steroid user or bumping fucking super physiological fucking levels of testosterone or hormones, as long as you haven't been doing that since you were fucking a teenager, it doesn't have a bad effect on your body. All these dudes from the golden era, or Arnold and all these other guys who died, and Arnold's got a bad heart now. They were fucking they were doing big amounts of oral steroids since they were kids. Of course they're going to develop problems. But if you're already in your 50s or your 40s, you don't have enough time yet for any of that to affect you. If anything, that will expand your life. If anything, it will extend it.
Yeah, I think the problem arises when you've just been doing it for so many decades.
So long, and then by the time you're old, there's no gas left in your tank.
Yeah.
You've been taking that shit at high dosages. It just run for 40, 50 years. You're just running to the ground. That's something you do in the second half of your life at reasonable levels. As long as you know what you're doing and you see good. And here's another thing. You don't go to doctors for this. Doctors don't know because general practitioners are just doing what they're told and they say what they're an endocrinologist will know, and muscle heads, guys that come out of gyms, because they're doing human experimentation on themselves and other people. So they have human trials right there. And a lot of those guys some of those guys are doctors that are doing it, and they're working out. So doctors take drugs. That's another thing that people, doctors take drugs? Yes. Doctors take drugs.
Well, I mean, I thought even in like the 80s, I remember there being like kind of an epidemic.
Yeah, doctors are drug addicts.
Well, yeah.
A lot of them.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can
They
get
have
all
access to
you
them.
can get all the good shit, and no one's gonna say anything.
And they know, and they kind of know the potentials, and they'll use them on themselves. You know.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I just feel like I only just realized we have the same shirt on again.
We have the same shirt on again. Shit.
God damn it.
Damn it.
He usually comes in checks. He didn't check.
I forgot.
My drink is empty.
Yeah. Okay. Soap, you said Dr. Tom wants to inject us all. Soap, you're fucking low T, bro. You're low T.
He thinks everybody's
You're low T. She's got the symptoms, and she's a vegetarian. You see, that shit'll collapse your fucking, and just her lifestyle. I didn't say, but here's the thing. So I didn't say start fucking banging it up. I said go get your blood work done. I suspect it. Go get your blood work done. Go look at your free testosterone and see how that fucking compares to what the normal range of females. I bet you're just fucking in the dirt.
Oh my god. I haven't had my blood tested in a long time. The only other problems I used to have, I used to have high cholesterol, and it's not so much anymore, because I kind of cut down on a lot of shit. You know, meat, dairy, that kind of stuff. I do eat some of it still, but not as much as I used to. So that kind of helped. And they keep checking it because diabetes runs in my family, so I have to keep getting it checked. But since I haven't had insurance since 2016, 2015, something like that. So I haven't had blood work done in a really long time. But, you know, so I don't know. I feel okay. So I'm just keeping fingers crossed. It's like, well, I don't feel like shit, so maybe that means that nothing's wrong. I know, but, you know, what are you going to do? Nothing. I was just talking to a friend the other day about, I'm kind of one of those people, because I guess I grew up, you know, kind of poor too, so you really kind of had to be fucking dying or you a broken bone or something like that before you would, you know, before they would take you to the hospital. My parents would take you to the hospital because they're like, are you sure we want to go to the hospital? Because it's like, it's going to be really expensive. So it's like, they didn't take you just for bullshit stuff. Most stuff you just kind of had to figure out on your own, you know what I mean? But luckily I didn't break any bones when I was a kid. And I didn't really get real sick as a kid either. I still don't get real sick. We had that, you know, we had that food poisoning shit. Well, it wasn't even food poisoning, but you know what I mean? That gross shit we had the other day. But other than that, I don't even get colds or flus or anything like that. I can't really even remember the last time I got anything like that. At least anything that was, bad enough for me to like not get out of bed. You know, I can't remember the last time that happened. I think the last time it happened, it was food poisoning again. That sucks, but I've never had cold or flu bad enough to not get out of bed. Fourth row down said you were going to be the world's first 150-year-old man.
No.
What are you doing, Pokey?
It's not.
Well, hey. Look at her.
She's asking to go outside. Yeah, she did that. She tear up the side of the chair and then running out. She's
like, come on. Well, she can't say come on, so she has to come up and be like, hey. Seriously, though, before we started the show, it's like, she wanted to go out on the back porch, so we opened the door, she goes in the back porch, and then, like, literally a second later, she was like, no, fuck this, I'm coming back in. She don't like it. I guess it was, like, too hot outside. I think it's 80. Let me see what temperature it is outside. It is 83 degrees. Oh my God. It's a degree hotter than it was when I checked earlier. It's 83 degrees. But it's, that's Fahrenheit. But it's cloudy outside, it says.
Yeah. It is. A little bit.
Did she go out or no?
She went out the front.
Oh, okay. She wants to sit on the front porch. Or on the driveway. By the car. Yeah, Thorne says, I hate going to doctors, especially getting older. They always find something wrong. I mean, That's the thing. It's like everybody has something that could be improved, I guess, but I just kind of figure like shit's not broke, don't fix it. If I feel like crap, yeah, then I'll go get something seen to. But if I don't feel like crap, then I'm not gonna worry about it. You know what I mean? Like you said, they might find some other shit that then they're like, hey, you
Well, I
need to
don't
take
trust them.
they need to take medication for this, and it's like then that'll make me feel even more like crap. So I'm just like, oh no thanks.
I'm into preventative maintenance and stuff. That's just all I just like that.
Well, like I said, I'm just kind of like I feel okay, so I'm not worrying about it. If I start feeling like shit consistently, then yeah, I'll do something about it, but I don't feel like shit consistently. Only thing I am all the time is tired, but that's just because I don't sleep very well. Because I wake up all the time in the middle of the night. That's all. So there's like a reason for that. Maria says it's 39 here and raining. I actually kind of wish, I was talking to Zach earlier on Facebook, and he said he feels a lot more creative and stuff when it's warm or hot outside, and I was like, man, not me. As soon as it gets hot, and now this is like my least favorite time of the year because I know that summer is going to be here soon, and man, the heat in Florida just fucking wears you down. You know what I mean? It's just after a while. I mean, we have air conditioning on all the time, and it's like I try to stay inside most of the time, except for going out for walks in the morning. And I try to go like really early in the morning, like at 7 in the morning before it gets too hot. But even then, it's like the humidity is it's draining. So I always feel a lot more energetic when it's cold out. It doesn't, and that's the thing, it doesn't really get cold in Florida all that much.
Okay, I dropped 3 links in the chat to a girl, what it looks like, what a female looks like under the influence of testosterone.
Under the influence.
Under the influence. Yeah, she's at female levels. She's not at male level testosterone doses, but female level. So you guys can look.
Gadget asks, what is 83 Fahrenheit in real money? As in, what is it?
Money.
What is it in Celsius? I don't know, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to look that up. 83 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that Celsius? Does it say on my phone? Let's see. Let's see. No, of course it doesn't.
You guys who can't see the links, that's what I shared.
Well, there you go.
This is what she looks like in clothes. So, you know, they don't look manly. Someone goes, nah, I like being round and squishy.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Fourth droned out goes, gosh. Brittany goes, yes, I want to start getting back into heavyweight so I can look like the discount version of that chick. Dang. She is goals. There's a lot of them up there. Actually, Instagram kind of replaced the action movies as far as the damn fitness scene, and it even replaced a lot of the damn bodybuilding shows. Instagram's got all the fucking exotic looking people. You're like, what the fuck? And then like some of them are almost kind of like, some of these girls are taking testosterone in the low end of the male range. One of them that is Bakar Nabiva. I think she's some Middle Eastern girl. She lives here in Florida now. She moved here with her boyfriend. She's got kind of a guy's voice, a male sounding voice, but it's kind of sexy. She looks great. You know, she looks this freaky looking goth chick. But just, she's got to be maybe only 2% body fat and a whole lot of muscle. And it's all lower body muscle. Big black contact lenses and stuff and ponytails. And it's just you didn't see people like that, you know, when I was a kid growing up. She looks like a Bond villain, you know. That's what she looks like. She looks like a Bond, like you know, like a Bond villain sidekick. You know what I'm talking about? I'll show some pictures here. Hold on.
Oh my god, I want to look like a Bond
Yeah,
villain.
she's just like, what the fuck?
I need an underground lair.
It's exactly.
We need to get on that.
It's exactly what she looks
I've
like.
always
I'm gonna
wanted
show
an
you.
underground lair.
Let me show you.
She looks like a fucking Bond villain.
Yeah. She was like wanting to be in the movies. Let's see. Show a good photograph. Keep talking, Jenny.
Well, I was waiting for you, and
Waiting
then
for me?
because then I'm going to start talking about something, and then you're just
Yeah.
going to interrupt because you know what I mean. So I always got to wait.
Yeah. But it's almost kind of like transhumanism.
Well, I mean, if you have the means, if you don't want to look like a human, if you want to
Yeah.
look like kind of like, well, then shit, man, you do you. I was no skin off my ass. I don't
Alright.
care. Like I said, I kind of like some freaky looking shit. She looks like Amanda Glass a little bit, at least from that quick glance that I saw. Yeah, okay. Shouldn't look that weird. I thought I was expecting like somebody like super weird looking.
Well, here I'll keep going.
She looks pretty normal, except for the contacts.
The proportions are not.
Yeah, but like I said, I was expecting something much weirder. That's all. Lady lair. Like a cooler version of a she shed. Fucking she shed. I can't believe that that's the female equivalent of man cave. I don't know who came up with that shit. This is what Tom does all day. He just like
I don't do this all day.
looks at pictures of chicks on Instagram. She's probably shopped.
I actually look at the dudes too.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like I mean a lot of it is filters and Photoshop and shit like that.
No, I'm seeing fucking what dudes my age are looking like the top notch too. You know what I mean? Fucking, I'm into see.
Yeah, that's a cool.
Cool picture, cool outfit.
That's a cool dress, actually. I have a top a little bit like that.
But that's not normal proportions.
Well, obviously.
Look at those thighs. and at like maybe 5% body fat, 3% body fat. No, that's just all. That's not, that's enhanced, not within normal. That's not normal.
Lady lair.
Yeah.
Brady says it isn't a barn, so I can't call it a bitch barn. See, I like bitch barn better than she shed. She shed just sounds so, I don't know, weak sauce. She got a Thigh Master at home. They still sell those? You can probably get them at Goodwill, right? You guys remember the Thigh Master? Remember they had that fucking, that infomercial where, what was her name? Suzanne Summers. Didn't she do the Thigh Master? Am I remembering that right? It was just basically this big hinged, whatchamacallit, with like fucking rubber on it, and you just like stuck it in between your knees and like squinched your legs together. I used to love all those infomercials, man, where they sell you like this very, very specific like exercise thing for this very, very specific little part of your body. It's like, here's this tiny little thing for your ab cruncher, and here's this tiny little thing for your thighs. You have to like buy one of each thing.
Yeah, Thorne says there are filters to change body proportions. Yeah, but not her. She's confirmed. She does shows and stuff.
So people have seen her.
Yeah, she's famous. She does have pretty big biceps in that.
DJ
but she doesn't weigh that much though.
Master.
She doesn't weigh that much though. I think she's maybe 130, 140 pounds maybe. She's not that big. She's small. She got Thigh Master at home. More than that, she was doing like nearly 300 something pound fucking squats. So she's strong, but I can just tell by her voice and some of her physiologies that she's not within the normal range for a female in terms of testosterone, free testosterone levels. and there's going to be some anabolic steroid use there, you know. But she's exactly what she wanted to be. She's, you know, she showed pictures of, you know, she hasn't been doing it for that long, you know, 4 or 5 years maybe.
Yeah. Brittany Irwin says, I still have an ab roller, lol. You know what? One of my favorite ones from that era, I don't even remember what they were called. Maybe somebody can remember. But all it was just like a plastic step. Like you did step aerobics with it. And it was just kind of like, hey, it's just like walking upstairs, except it's a plastic step. And I'm like, dude, you could literally do the same thing with anything that you could stand on. Like I had a big ass fucking Webster's dictionary. I'm like, I could do the exact same thing with that for free. So what are you charging me like $19.99 for a piece of like big thick plastic box that I could step up and down on? You know what I mean? It's just like, it was funny because I remember like right around that time when all those infomercials were really popular. Yeah. The fucking MST did like a kind of a little bit of parody of that, and they had a thing. They did an infomercial. It was called The Square Master, and it was just this fucking. It was essentially like a larger mouse pad, and they're like, look, you can just put it on the floor, and you can like run in place on it, or you could do jumping jacks on it, or whatever. And it was just like, I was like, that's just about as fucking pointless as the fucking. But that's kind of what they were making fun of.
Zach asking me to go look at his boy, Lassie Mattberg. That's his ideal man. You want me to go check out your ideal man? I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, he wants your opinion.
If you're gonna, okay, then drop a link in the damn comment section and I'll check it that way. But I'm not looking that dude up. Victor says she got a thigh master at home. Then Magro says those thighs are fucked up. And then DJ says fucking she is the thigh master. Okay, the thing with Bakhar's fucking, Bakhar's fucking real. She's real interesting. She came from a Muslim family. Her dad fucking didn't want her to do any of this shit. They kind of disowned her. They did not support any of this shit. She's like, fuck you. When she went to school, and I can't remember where it was that she went to school. It was somewhere, I think, in Eastern Europe, if I remember correctly. She got teased for having skinny legs. So she got pissed off and said, fuck that. I'm gonna fucking go to the gym and build some big ass legs.
And then I'm gonna crush everyone's head with my thighs.
In a few years,
made fun of me.
She got fucking pretty big. And while she was there, she's hanging out with all those fucking muscle heads. So then she kind of gets sucked into that culture. And she gets more and more results and more self-confidence. She starts asking about some of these fucking chemical modifications that she could do. She starts getting into kind of like gothy type stuff, and then she became the Bakar Nabiva that you know, and she ended up getting a boyfriend here in fucking Florida, and she moved to Miami, and which somebody told me that recently. I showed her to Saad, a guy in Saudi Arabia, and she's like, he didn't like her first, but she goes, yeah, I guess she is kind of sexy, you know, and because that's not his culture, you know, most of these super feminine women. And I'm like, well, that's feminine too. It's just a different different manifestation of femininity. When you put her next to a muscled guy, there's a big difference. Big difference in size, proportion, and weight. She's definitely female. It's just modified, you know. I see it as kind of like body modification or, you know, transhumanism type things where you becoming kind of like a cyborg. It's like that. Because there's all kinds of biotech involved.
Well, like I said, this is why I never really had a problem with. I know that there's kind of a thing where people, they, you know, for a time they had, especially on like all the fucking stupid ass talk shows, they, you know, daytime talk shows they used to have, and like then the reality shows that kind of came later. And I know that there's kind of a thing like, hey, look at these freakish people that get puzzle pieces tattooed all over their faces or split their tongues so they look like a snake or something like that. But it's just kind of like, you know, a lot of it's not what I would choose. And, you know, yeah, in my opinion, some of it doesn't look good. But it's just kind of like, if that's what you want to look like, then who am I to tell you not to? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's your body. Do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Maniac says, kind of like that female orc in the Raid video game ads I keep seeing. Jesus, it's giving me issues. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm not geeking out on female orcs, you know? I had my time geeking out on female elves back when I was 13 and 14, reading a damn fucking comic book called Elf Quest. I don't know if you guys even remember.
I remember
Elf Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought the animation and the little elf warrior women from Elf Quest, I thought they were just the cutest thing ever. But if I probably see it today, it probably would drawn like shit, probably. But they kind of had almost like anime.
Yeah.
And that wasn't real common in the United States back then. But ElfQuest, I was living in California, going to military school at that time, and I was into D&D, Dungeons and Dragons and shit, the game, and ElfQuest comic books were real popular at my military academy. So that's how I saw them. Yeah, that's pretty cute, neat.
I remember seeing some of those. I don't really remember a lot what they looked like, but I remember some being around the house.
ElfQuest was about, wars between elves in this fucking prehistoric land, I guess, and some of them rode around on wolves. They were almost human sized, but not quite, I think they were like maybe 4'5", 5 feet tall, a lot of them. And they had a bunch of different tribes of them. They were kind of like barbarians, wore furs, and had bows and arrows and swords and everything. And I don't remember if they had magic or not. I think maybe they had some.
I thought all elves were magic.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that. I think some of them were wizards and some of them weren't. There weren't, and there were humans in it, but the humans were cavemen. They were kind of like the bad guys. You didn't see them that often. They were just fucking dudes in loincloths with fucking
clubs and whatnot.
Clubs and
dragon chicks around by their hair.
And fucking torches and stuff. And they had to run from them. So this is like, Neanderthal times,
Okay, that's fair enough.
That's when it was happening, right? They were more advanced than humans. But like I said, I haven't seen that since 1980, 81.
David June says, can confirm ElfQuest looks like shit.
Yeah, it probably does look like shit. Like I said, I haven't seen it since 81. But that was like an early prototype of the stuff that later on gave rise to the popularity of Tolkien stuff. Like the movies, Tolkien movies. But yeah, it probably looks like shit. But back in those days, that was kind of pretty good quality compared to what was out there at that time.
It's just funny to think about now because, now geeks have taken over the world, which, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. But back in the day, it's just kind of like, it's funny to me to think that like fucking Led Zeppelin wrote songs about fucking J.R.R. Tolkien, and everybody's like, what the fuck is that?
What are they talking about?
What the fuck are they talking about? Now everybody knows. And now it's like, now everybody's kind of like making fun of it because like, oh, it's like so dorky.
Yeah, some of the best fantasy art, aside from Frank Frazetta, but that we saw as kids in the very early '80s, would be the stuff out of the Dungeons and Dragons fucking monster manuals and all the fucking
we had all those,
all the modules and shit. I guess it was Gary Gygax and some other guys, and Errol Otis, I think, was the name of the artist that drew all that stuff, which by today's standards is probably real crude looking. So ElfQuest, I remember it being about on par with what was going on in Dungeons and Dragons at that time. It was not a time for great art. There were great artists, but they were in shit like Heavy Metal Magazine.
Although I have to say, I remember the monster manuals that we had. I remember the art in there being good, but like I said, I haven't seen them in a long time.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
But I do remember the art in there being like pretty nice.
ElfQuest was maybe a little bit below that. I haven't seen it. Let me go check.
It's just funny to me that like something that, I mean, in the 80s when we were growing up, like if you played Dungeons and Dragons or you were into that kind of stuff, everyone was like dork, then you'd get your ass kicked. Yeah. And now it's just kind of like everybody's into that shit. Which, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad kind of like geeks took over the world, and I'm pretty fine with it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I'm not really all that cool with it.
Well, in the sense that shit that used to be real marginal and everyone would make fun of you for liking it, now it's just kind of like everybody likes that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of mainstream, and
which sucks in a lot of ways because I think we've talked about this before too. It's like that's kind of what happened when, kind of the goth look went mainstream in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then all kind of terrible things ensued from that. Like, 'cause suddenly it was in all these movies and fucking fashion designers were putting that shit on the runway, and we were just kind of like, oh man. So, I can kind of see how that sucked. I mean, it sucked for us. And like I said, look what happened at fucking, when we talked about Columbine and all that other kind of shit, where suddenly you get lumped in. It was like the fucking satanic panic all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing all different kinds of ElfQuest, and it looks like ElfQuest existed for a long time and went through many variations. So I'm trying to see which one would have been the one that ElfQuest Book 1 is $50. Um, so
Yeah, see, I remember that.
yeah, it kind of looks like crap, but that was kind of. I'm gonna show you guys. That's kind of on par with what we were used to in the early '80s.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Trying to get it to focus.
Well, don't fuck with it too much,
There
or
we
you're gonna
go.
crash the fucking.
There we go.
I totally remember that.
Yeah,
We might have
remember
had.
that?
We might have had that.
Riding on
that-
wolves and everything.
with his little tongue hanging
Yeah.
out and whatnot. Now, see if the stream crashes, I'm gonna blame you.
Okay.
We don't even have the party lights on for that very reason.
Yeah.
But you know, and see, it's like I know I don't want to jinx it, but we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes and it still hasn't dropped. So I think that might have been our problem. Too much motion in the background. You know what I'm saying? But see, I remember, like, look up some of the art from the Monster Manual because I kind of feel like I remember that most of that being nice, but I don't think it was the same. I mean, I don't think the same artist did like the whole book. Not that I'm.
No, it was like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I thought it was like a bunch of different.
I really enjoyed the art from that era, from Dungeons and Dragons and all the books. We thought it was really cool. Going back at it and looking at it, it was. I would probably recognize everything. Victor Garcia says he's 38 and he'd never heard of ElfQuest. I think ElfQuest, in the time that I found it, like that book 1, 2, and 3. I think it was book 1, 2, and 3 is all we had. I think that was around 81.
Yeah.
80, 81. That might have been a local California production. I don't know if that was nationwide.
But like I said, I saw it too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like younger. Like he's like 10 years younger than us.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just kind of like a thing where
California was like was some kind of like an epicenter of the Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy stuff and all the games.
well, that's where a lot of the companies were.
That's where the companies were, and a lot of them were like they don't exist anymore. One of them was a company that sold these lead figurines of little spaceships. They look kind of like cross between Star Warsy looking stuff with. One of them was straight up Star Trek. It was Star Trek stuff, but it was like a board game you played on hex maps between ships that flew around. They were like war games. And I don't remember what the Star Trek one was. Maybe called Starfleet.
I kind of feel like they might have played that on beer and board games at some stage. That sounds very familiar.
The other ones were kind of like you had things that looked like Star Destroyers and other weird ships, and they all had their, they weren't destroyed in one shot, of course, you know what I mean? You had to fight, they fought each other forever, hours. They were blowing themselves apart and attacking weapon systems on them. And these were guys that were much older than me that were playing these games, These were guys that, from my point of view, were adults at that time. They were probably in their 20s or 30s. They were all fat with beards and glasses, They were not cool guys by any means in terms of like, they weren't the kind of guys that would be successful in a nightclub. They were nerds. They were real nerds. And in a way, they did inherit the earth because it was dudes like that were behind shit like Apple and Microsoft and all, it was guys like that.
Yeah.
That ended up becoming tech giants, or at least some of them did, not all of them. They were the ones that got lucky did. But, yeah, it was just another time.
It was, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, too, like, I don't know why this reminded me of that, but I guess because you said ElfQuest. But one of the first games that I remember being really into, like on the PC back in the 90s, was King's Quest. Do you remember that?
No.
It kind of came on a disc. It was like one of those ones that you got at fucking... I don't even think we had Best Buy back then. I don't even remember what the fucking store was. We bought it and it came like in a big cardboard box, and then it was like all these fucking discs. The graphics were actually not too bad. For, I want to say it was maybe 96 or 97. And it was just kind of, it was like a fantasy game, It was kind of like you'd go, you were looking for, I don't even remember what the fuck you were looking for. You were looking for like magical shit, Just kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but they couldn't call it that. Yeah. But, so I remember that kind of shit. It was kind of like, I don't know. I kind of feel like it was sort of like Legend of Zelda also.
DJ Maniac said that literally looks like the same art design from the old D&D cartoon from the 80s. Yeah, it probably was companies that were all related to each other. ElfQuest was probably in some way related to all that.
It probably was.
Oh
my God.
Those dudes all knew each other.
Oh my God, DJ Maniac just said we had battle chests. The pieces would kill each other. I remember that. We had that too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maniac also said Raoul Partha made those D&D led figures. TSR made the books. Yeah, Raoul Partha made all the figures.
I remember those figures.
There was a couple of companies that did that, and I had a lot of them. The little orcs and the kobolds and the fucking goblins and fucking big-ass dragons. They were all toxic fucking lead, and you painted them. They looked great. I had real good eye-hand coordination back then. I didn't need glasses. I could focus in and paint a little tiny eyes on these little bitty animals. I couldn't do it today. But,
well,
you know,
yeah, even with my glasses on, I'd be like...
I'd be painting the face, and it'd just be a single hair with a little drop of fucking paint on it. Painting eyes and stuff. I was real meticulous when I was young. I could do really small, fine detail stuff. I don't have the patience for it now. But shit, when I was fucking 11, 12, 13, I just was a fucking master. I'd fucking paint those little figurine, little mins, little tiny kobolds and shit. Their little shields, it would just look fucking like a photograph almost of a little monster. I was into it. Fucking mixing paint colors and stuff.
I remember being really into, I don't know, so you can probably still get these nowadays, but like when you go to the craft store and you would buy these little, I don't know if they're made of like plaster or whatever, like, but like little plaster figures of like different characters and stuff. And you could buy the paint and like paint them. Yeah. I was really into doing that when I was a kid too. And I really liked, when I was really little, I really liked those paint by numbers.
Yeah.
You know, like usually like horses or landscapes or whatever.
I could do model tanks, model planes, fucking Star Trek models. I was airbrushing. I could airbrush. I could fucking hand brush. I could do all that kind of shit. I was good at it back then. I haven't done it forever. She got me that model. I haven't built a really good model in a long, long time.
Well, that's why I got that for you, and you really needed to do it because it was like really expensive.
I gotta. There's a couple things I gotta do. Is I gotta get the paint, and I want to look at the electronic guts to see, because there's an aftermarket. So the cells have different lighting things that, you know, I want to have the best possible electronic guts for the thing. I think that the LED kit looks better.
Well, yeah, like
and
I said,
the LED kit's about $60.
If you're gonna do it, like do it right.
Yeah, but do it right.
Like I said, that wasn't a cheap kit, you know.
It's got a remote, and then it has like hundreds of sounds and theme songs that you can play through the remote.
See, you need to get that. You need to get that going.
One of the kits.
We need to put it in the background of the show.
One of the kits, the phaser system in there, the phaser banks on the thing fire actual real lasers.
Like lasers that'll actually...
A laser beam.
That'll like kill you?
No,
nice.
No, but just, you know, a laser beam will fucking come out of the phaser. Yeah.
I'm going to put it on stun, motherfucker. Yeah.
So I got to look and see. There's a guy he's hand making all those things and sells them. And not just for that model, but for a whole bunch of them. But each one of them is tailored to that ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it looked good.
Yeah.
Because I want to put it back there.
Well, yeah, because it's big.
Yeah, it's big. And,
it's big...
and you know, the fucking, those warp nacelles on the front, I want the good effect where it looks just like out of the movies.
Yeah.
Where the things are spinning in there. And little running lights and all the fucking lights.
Okay, we'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll get all of it. It'll look really cool. Victor says, Jenny, did you go through a horse girl phase? I did. I feel like pretty much, I think all the girls in the 80s, maybe, I don't know if it's still going on now, but all the girls in the 80s, 70s and 80s went through that kind of shit. So I used to go in Daytona. We had this big, huge, like 2 or 3 stories toy store called Dunn Toys. And I would go there every few weeks, every time I had some money, and would buy model horses. So I had a whole shit ton of model horses. I don't know what happened to them. My mom might still have them in the attic for all I know. But yeah, I had a bunch of those. And like I said, I used to do a lot of paint by number kits. And they weren't all horses. I did other shit too, but I did do a lot of horses. And of course, everybody knew that I was into that shit. So they would give me like horse shit. Not actual horse shit, but just like shit with horses on it.
Maniac made a model of Cressel. As I guess Snake Plissken probably. No, I didn't see it, man. Fucking send me a link on Facebook or something. I'll check it out. I was actually thinking about making a couple of dolls, because you can buy the stuff to make a doll.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a fucking Kurt Russell fucking Snake Plissken doll, because you can get all that the clothes, the head. You can get a Kurt Russell head and paint it, getting Kurt Russell's head. But no, paint it with the fucking eye patch and everything. That's kind of bootleg because that's copyrighted.
Yeah.
But they got guys with 3D printers making fake heads, and you put it on the body and then the clothes. I want to make that, and I wanted to make a Neville, Colonel Neville from Omega Man.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that with the MK760 machine gun and his flight suit and his fucking colonel's hat and his fucking glasses and shit. Getting ready to kill some damn zombies. They're not zombies, vampires, I guess. Mutant vampires.
Yeah, they're mutant vampires.
Yeah, be neat to.
You could probably start a whole fucking Etsy store doing that.
Yeah,
shit.
making dolls. Action figure. Men call them action figure, but I know it's a doll.
Thank you, Victor, for the horse shit fund. I know, I really did. I had a lot of different horses. Like I don't even remember what most of those were made of, but they were really cool. I had a couple that were ceramic, and then somebody gave me like some Barbie ones. Like Barbie was supposed to ride on it, but of course that bitch's legs didn't go. Her fucking legs don't go in the way that your legs have to go to ride a horse.
Frugal videographer asked me if I could make a Seagal doll. You're inspiring me. Because they got different body styles.
Can he be fat?
Yes, they have different body styles. They're a bunch of the bodies are in body type, size, lean, fat, whatever. So you can construct. They're all different, scale. They're all the same scale, but you can get them in different heights and stuff, like tall and fat. All right. But yeah, you could do a fat Steven Seagal because you can get that head. I've seen somebody selling a fat Steven Seagal head. Imagine that.
If you make it, you have to make it so that he can't stand up. You have to make it so that he's just sitting down.
Sitting down, yeah.
And then he can't.
He's in combat gear, sitting down. Well, I was thinking about kind of an overweight. I was thinking about an overweight Seagal in the black silk pajamas with the fucking red silk Chinese shirt.
See.
You know what I mean? With the fucking sunglasses, with his black round sunglasses and his goatee.
Yeah.
With his best Chinaman braid, where he's being fucking just culturally appropriate and like fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Seagal was that motherfucker. Don't get me on that damn. He was whatever race he had to be for any given interview. 1 minute he's doing a fake Chinese accent. Next minute he's doing a black accent. Next minute he's Southern. Man, he's from Michigan and he's Jewish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just whatever. Fucking Seagal. He's the fascinating man.
He seems completely unaware of his own bullshittery.
No, he knows. That's why he's trying to keep a low profile. And all those women running after him from charges. Sexual assault charges. That's why he's up in Russia.
Yeah, why does that not fucking surprise me? He seems exactly the type of person that would do that kind of crap.
He's got like 20 fucking kids. And like most of them girls and most of them good looking. And they're all there.
So they must have all taken after their mothers then.
Yeah, I guess. And they're up there in Russia with him. I think they're from Russian women.
Ones that he paid to like.
I don't know. He had Russian sex slaves for a while, or sex employees on staff.
Sex employees.
Sex employees on staff to serve as every whim. But he had the money, and they were willing. It's
well, I don't know if they were so much willing. They're like, well,
they were hookers.
I want to eat and I need money.
They're hookers.
So,
they're hookers. They
could be worse.
They had a fucking contract, the service contract with it. That way, they only got to sell it to one dude instead of 20 dudes, or 100 dudes. So
I don't know.
They're hookers.
I don't know how much money you'd have to pay.
The thing is look, Steven Seagal could probably lie. He definitely can lie his ass off. And if you're not hearing these lies in your own native tongue, maybe they're more believable. Because you're some, chick from Chechnya or something, who's fucking never had a pot to piss in. And this guy's an American movie star. You don't really speak the same language he does, right?
Thank you, Zach.
And for all as you know, this motherfucker is just straight up legit,
Yeah.
So you're probably, kind of starstruck.
Yeah, you're like,
that's probably, he's got all these movies.
He's got money and he's got
all these movies and he's good to me.
So he must not be completely full of shit.
Yeah, and you also don't know where these girls are coming from. You know what I mean? Some of them came from, this was in a time when there was a lot of Eastern European women running from fucking bad war-torn areas.
Yeah, so someone was like, maybe
The poverty was just
up.
yeah.
Sure.
So I think this might have been a step up.
Zach said the Seagal doll should have an inflatable belly and, as an accessory, a can of Asian Experience.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah, you
how
can
it
make a
would-
little tiny. Yeah, he could come with that.
Now the dolls have solid bellies. You can get them. They're made, but they're fully articulated.
Wait,
Like-
the belly is fully articulated?
No, it's just like any other. It's just like any other action figure. I'll show you. You know what I mean? There's a way to make fat ones like that, but they're still fully articulated. And I'd put him in the Chinese outfit, silk outfit, something like that. And I'd maybe try to make a little small can of Asian Experience. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. That's a good idea. Thanks for inspiring me. Maybe one of them I'm putting on the list.
And honestly, you know how like with
What I'd do is fucking make some of them and sell these bitches over the show.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, you could have a whole fucking Etsy store.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't call them what their
fuck...
name was. You could call them like, you could call it like martial artist movie star.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like everybody would know who it was, but you couldn't, and then that way maybe you wouldn't get sued. I don't know. You have to look into the legality.
You could probably do direct sales though. You could probably do some direct sales though, just online. Say do the same.
Probably.
Like, yeah, there it is. Okay, I sent it to you.
Like I said, as long as
because it's not a mass production item.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Like I said, you're getting into like weird like legal territory when you're making money on something like that, like on somebody like a famous person's image.
Maybe.
So I mean, it's not like they.
What you do is you sell them the body. You don't sell them the head. And then later on,
head sold separately.
Later on, you just get the head for free in another package.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like loopholes, like ways to work around it. But it's just kind of like I was thinking too that you remember how like back in the day they might still do this, but like with Barbies and all that kind of shit where they would sell you like an environment, like it's the Barbie dream house or it's the Barbie Corvette or what the fuck ever. I think that you should also sell little environments for your Steven Seagal dolls.
Yeah. Listen, read what fucking Sophie said.
You should do like a little pool that's full of Asian Experience.
No, read what Sophie said.
I wanted to buy Tom one of the Seagal bobbleheads they made for his Lawman show, but that shit goes for hundreds on eBay now. Thanks.
Believe it or not, fucking Seagal memorabilia is worth a lot of fucking money.
Well, and I think a lot of
novelty.
Yeah. Well, look at the guy, that one guy, I can't remember what his name is, but that other guy that's on Cinemassacre sometimes, that dude collects Steven Seagal stuff, like, ironically.
Yeah.
And he has every fucking Steven Seagal thing ever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nico Cat. Glad I caught the show. I've had to miss out on a few. We're glad you're here, too. Yeah. But yeah, he has all the shit.
Yeah, I looked up Asian Experience, and there were people selling unopened cans of Asian Experience for several $100s a can, because it's almost all gone.
Well, yeah, they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
But
one guy opened it and tried it.
Well, that was the same guy.
Yeah,
that was the guy that was on Cinemassacre. They had he was talking about his Steven Seagal collection because he showed a lot of it on there. He had everything.
It was way beyond expiration date too. It was what 11 years old
at least.
He said it wasn't that good. He said it was drinkable.
It probably wasn't that good to start with.
He said it was drinkable, but he wasn't sure whether or not age had something to do with it.
Yeah, it's like it might have just tasted like ass, like just right out of the fucking gate. Because, like I said, it's an energy drink, right? And they all
Seagal was wise, he would relaunch Asian Experience. Although, you know what? Maybe it's only cool because it's old now.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if it would work if you actually tried to seriously.
Yeah.
I think people only like that kind of stuff for the irony value.
And the fact that it's old and it's gone.
Because it's old and it's cheesy and nobody makes it anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's the thing. It's like, I feel like, I don't know, like some companies are kind of like, oh, we saw this thing and it's like really popular, but then they try to make a new version of it and nobody wants that shit because that's not why they want it.
The fucking drink is called Asian Experience. It's obviously a fucking sexual connotations to the shit. And that motherfucker released it.
Are we having an Asian Experience?
We're gonna have it. No, baby, you know I love you. You know, but Steve, I wanted to have the Asian Experience. Oh, you could pour that down that pool. Just fill the whole pool up with the Asian Experience. I'll drink every bit of it, baby. I'll drink every bit of it, baby. That's fucking crazy shit, man. He called the drink Asian Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
He had like a.
Well, look at it this way. He could have called it Punani.
Yeah, Punani, Nani. Asian Punani. Asian Punani.
He could have called it that.
He could have called it. He should have called it that. He should have called it.
Maybe.
Yeah, if he re-releases it, that's what he should call it.
Punani.
Asian Punani. Yeah. I like to read. I'm back by popular demand. I know the Asian Experience is selling for $700 a bottle on eBay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to re-release Asian Experience, but this is going to be Asian Experience 2. It's going to be even better. I'm going to rename this. This batch will be called Asian Punani Nani.
Oh my God.
This is for you guys that have never had that Asian Experience. I'm going to give it to you in a can. It's going to be beautiful.
An Asian Experience in a can.
You can just sit back, watch some of that Asian porn, and drink some of this Asian punani. It's like virtual porn. Quenching your thirst at the same time.
Porn in the can.
Giving you all kinds of nutrients. Like guaranan, acai, and what's another one? But tangerine. No, all these fucking, what are all those weird hokey fucking things that they put in Asian in
shit, man. They put fucking ginger in there too, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll be able to jump up and fight anybody when you get done drinking some of the.
You can slap him with your dick.
Slapping people around. Asian Poo Nanny Nanny. Available at 7-Eleven.
For some reason, I was just reminded of back in the late 90s, where I used to work, there was a guy that I used to work with, and he got into a thing where there was a drink. I think it was only very briefly available, but it was what?
Somebody said Stephanie Seagal. That must be Steven Seagal's daughter, Stephanie Seagal.
Okay.
That's fucking funny, dude.
But yeah, so I guess it was like pretty briefly available, but there was this, I don't know if it was like bottled water or if it was like some kind of energy drink or something, but it came in like this blue, like this really nice blue bottle, but it kind of looked like a, it had like all these little knobs on the outside. Like it looked like one of those weird fucking ribbed dildos or whatever. So the bottle kind of looked like that. And it was called Balls. I don't know. It might've been, I think it was sparkling water, I want to say, but he had like, he would bring that in every day. So he had like this big collection of blue bottles, like up on the shelf over his desk. And it was just, and it just said Balls, but it's just, the bottle looked like, kind of like a dildo, but I guess they did it on purpose.
Who is this?
The guy I used to work with.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I don't even know if anybody remembers that shit, but I think it was sparkling water. It might have been an energy drink, but it was like a blue bottle that looked like a dildo, and it was called Balls.
That's ridiculous.
I feel like that was kind of a big thing back in the 90s or whatever. Like
there was some shit that they were selling. I think it's in the late 80s, early 90s. It came in like a real fancy blue bottle, and floating in it were like these little balls of gelatin. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You could drink it?
Yeah.
What was the name of that shit?
I don't know.
Somebody might remember. You want another drink?
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like they did that recently, too. Isn't that what that fucking shit is? That boba tea or whatever the fuck
it
shit is?
Little
with like all the custard bubbles like floating in there?
Bubbles floating in it. They're little balls of gelatin. And they were shiny. They looked like they had glitter in them.
Ooh, pretty. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like those fucking bath beads or whatever. I don't know. I never really got into that. And I feel like, I don't know, it just seems like kind of a crowded market. There's so many energy drinks. There's so many, because it's at some point it seemed like everybody was trying to jump on that fucking bandwagon because the fucking market share was so large. And I think that's probably why Steven Seagal thought that he could make that shit fly, because everybody had a fucking energy drink back then. And only a few brands actually stood the test of time. But I'm pretty sure that Balls isn't around anymore. Yeah, see, DJ Maniac remembered Balls. And it was, BAWLS. The bottle was nice, like I said, but it was indeed ribbed for her pleasure. At least that's how I remember it. I was like, that looks like a textured dildo. But that's what it was supposed to look like, I suppose. But I don't know. He just brought one of those in every day, and then he had like this whole big long row of them. No, but what I was saying is that if Tom is going to do that, he should totally make little play sets for all of his figures, because you could do, Well, I mean, obviously you could do the Asian Experience pool playset, you know, with the chick inside the pool. You could do that. You could do an Under Siege playset with like a little ship and like a little kitchen with like some fucking
You go check on Pook.
with some fucking gumbo or something like that in a pot. You could do that. And then obviously like for the Snake Plissken one, you could have the fucking little Escape from New York set. You know what I mean? Like with the little crash plane and I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I just like that idea, you know? Because I have this one, I have this really cool figure. I don't know if it's, I think it's way up there and I can't reach it. But it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And the Dr. Jekyll is kind of little, but like the Mr. Hyde like kind of snaps over him because the Mr. Hyde figure is like really big. So the Dr. Jekyll is inside, but you can take the, you can kind of snap it apart and then like, you know, so Dr. Jekyll is inside, but it comes with like a little play set. So it has like this little stone wall in the back and it all snaps together. And then there's like a little lab table. And then there's like all this little shit that you can put on his little table. It's got like little beakers and like a little book about transformation or whatever. And there's like a little candle and all this other kind of shit. It's really cool. I don't even remember where I got it from. Yeah, it's up there. I can't reach it though. We have like this, there's like a little shelf above the closet and it's like way up there on the top and I can't get to it. Plus I have little bitty, figures of Freddy and Jason and Leatherface. They're only like this big though. And they have like little bitty tiny environments. Like the Leatherface one has like a little vise and a little stone floor with blood all over it. And then the Freddy one has like a little round thing, like a boiler door. And then the Jason one, like the bottom is like kind of grass and then it has like a little sign that says Camp Crystal Lake on it. But you know, those are really cool. I don't know. I think I said this before, but I really like, that's why I like designing board games, is because I like a whole thematic thing that all goes together. You know what I mean? So that's why I like the idea of like having these little figures and all this little kind of like shit that you can put them in. The Seagal Sex Dungeon playset. Bleh. I don't really want to have to imagine that. DJ Maniac says, I make custom action figures, vehicles, and playsets as my main hobby. I haven't gotten around to making you and Tom just yet, though. Oh my god. Wouldn't that be cool? I kind of want little action figures of us with like a little playset. I don't know what our little playset would be. Pookie would have to be in it, though. And Beijing. I don't know. I kind of feel like our playset would be kind of boring. It's just like this room with like party lights in it with a baby Yoda in the background or some shit like that. McFarlane's Monsters. I remember these from the late 90s. Yeah, it's like I think another one that I have too. I can't remember where it went to, but I have one. I think that like they did like a Clive Barker line, if I'm remembering it correctly. And I had one that was called, what the fuck was it called? It was like Clive Barker's Carnival of Horrors or whatever the hell it was called. And it's like, so there's one and it's like there's all these figures, just like a little like deformed baby in a jar and like all this other kind of shit. But I have that too someplace around here. And I have like a little, oh, I have this is right here. So I could put, I haven't opened it yet, but I have this as a little Edgar Allan Poe figure. Let's see. I have that there. And I have a couple Frankenstein monster ones as well. But yeah. I love Poe stuff. And I don't know if I've showed you guys this, but I just got this not too long ago. I'm just like scared to use it because I'm not going to put it in the dishwasher or anything, but check this shit out. This is my Edgar Allan Poe mug. Look at that. Look how fucking cool that is. I saw it on Amazon and I was like, oh, I gotta have that. But like I said, I almost kind of don't want to use it. Like, I've just been keeping it in the box because I like it too much to mess it up. I like all my fucking toys that I have. Yeah, see? Yeah, you have to make a Pookie and a Beijing when you make Tom and Jenny. Yeah. We have to have our little kids on there. I've been trying to do like one idea that I had for a new t-shirt design is I wanted to do kind of like little like caricature kind of cartoons of us and of Pookie and Beijing. And it's just kind of like, well, I could draw it. Might take a long time. Or I could like maybe find some character art that kind of looks like us. I don't know. I'll think of something. But that was one idea that I had because I really like the idea of like having like cartoons of us and then like with the little kitties like sticking out on the side. I don't know. That's just one of the ideas that I'm kind of throwing around. Bees Nest says, Jenny, can you wear my t-shirt if it comes before your show Friday? Oh, I absolutely will. I absolutely will. We'll see. We'll see if it comes before. I mean, what is it? It's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So it'll probably be here, like you said. I'm excited to see what it is. I just recently, I had a bunch of coupons for Zazzle. So I said, well, shit, I'm going to go back in and buy one of our own shirts. So I bought one of my Who is Somerton Man shirts. I wore it the other day, but you couldn't really see it much. Where did you find her?
I couldn't find her.
Uh-oh.
Even looked out there by the pond, didn't see her.
I wonder where she went to.
I got the feeling she's either in the bushes next door or she went underneath the damn fence and looking at the trail.
She better not be under the
You know how she is. She's a cat. She does what she wants.
Maybe she's by the neighbor's house.
Probably. Let's see.
Uh-huh.
It's not dark yet.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Still light.
That's what's crazy. It's like I'm in this office so much.
Yeah.
And I like darkness, you know? So I have a window right there, but I always keep the curtains closed. And I always keep the lights pretty much just like this. So it's kind of like dim in here, which I enjoy. So when I'm in here, sometimes I lose track of time. And then when I glance over at the window, I'm like, oh my God, it's still fucking daylight outside. It's like, for some reason, I thought it was like 10 o'clock at night or whatever. You need to talk now because I've been talking the whole time. And I have to, well, no, I have to go to the...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I gotta run to the bathroom.
Go ahead and go. I'm just catching up with the commentary on the back.
Yeah, like, you know.
Seeing what everybody's saying.
You were gone a long time. You gotta talk.
Yeah, I went all around the house 3 times, and I walked down there to the damn pond and came back. I didn't see her. Yeah, she's scared. She's scared now. She's like a mom, like a mother. Cat's gonna be fine. Cat just went underneath the damn. I think Cat went underneath the fence. Underneath the fence on the other side, there's a damn walking trail, and she sits up there and watches people walk by. But yeah. So, you guys have any questions? What's the topic? What do we want to talk about? It's like Maniac's trying to make an action figure of me and Jenny one of these days. That's funny. They're in there talking about action figures. Yeah, the Seagal action figure was a good idea. I should probably look into that. Even Seagal.
Did you say I was like a mom because I worried about...
Yeah, you worry about that cat to us. That cat's gonna be fine. That cat's grown up enough. Knows what's going on.
She better be.
Yeah.
That's my little child there.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? Steven Seagal still?
Yeah, that's about it.
I told you we need to do an Asian experience pool playset.
Take up all the room in the damn house.
Well, no, it could be. It's like miniature. You know what I mean?
Actually, just going back on YouTube and seeing that commercial just fucking had me laughing. You know, like, and that was enough. Like, revisiting that for a few minutes, and then like I went on YouTube, not YouTube, on eBay, and there was people selling Steven Seagal memorabilia and merchandise from his karate tours and stuff. All right.
Sorry.
And there was one that I shared with Sophie. I don't remember what it was. It was a little poster, and it had a picture, a black and white picture of Seagal. It was like something that you actually Xeroxed. It was like a Xerox poster.
Ooh.
If he was going to come, he was going to come and give some kind of a speech about martial arts.
Oh Lord.
And oh yeah. And it's got a picture of Steven Seagal dressed up as a Buddhist monk, I guess, with some prayer beads and his hands together, and he's just going.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah, and he's got prayer beads wrapped on his hand, and it says, Master Steven Seagal, teaching blah 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 blah, and it says the location and the time, and underneath it, it had like a fucking generic wise man quote from Steven Seagal. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Dude, get the fuck over
Yeah,
yourself.
and it was like,
oh my God.
it was like one of those Deepak Chopra quotes where it sounds deep as fuck until you think about it, and you're like,
seriously,
dude,
if it's still there, somebody please go to the Deepak Chopra like quote generator. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you will not be able to tell the difference between what that AI coughs up and what he actually says.
I'm gonna see if I can try to find what his fucking quote is. When I fucking read it out, when I tell you guys the quote, you'll fucking laugh because it's not much to it. I'm gonna try to see what it is.
Okay, so David June asks, tell us what you're playing these days, Tom. Also, Zach asks, can there be a David Miscavige action figure? Ooh, I like that idea.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. And then David June again says, I think the Tom action figure should come with grits.
Yeah. What game am I playing?
DJ Maniac said he was going to make some action figures of us. I said, make some action figures of us and Pookie in Beijing. And yeah, you can have a bowl of grits as your accessory. What would my accessory be? I don't know what my accessory would be. I can't think of an accessory. I don't know. Maybe somebody can think of a good one.
I'm going through the quotes. There's a lot of quotes. I'm trying to see.
There's a lot of bullshit quotes that
yeah.
I kind of feel like, I mean, Deepak Chopra and like people of that ilk, I feel like that's kind of like their whole bread and butter is just like saying shit that sounds deep until you think about it.
Yeah. So he wants to know what I'm playing. I was playing. I'm doing Far Harbor off of.
That's Fallout, yeah.
Fallout, yeah.
Isn't that like the Lovecraftian?
It's kind of
Lovecraftian.
A little bit, kind of. It feels like it, but once you start playing it, it's not. It does have some sea monsters in there, but Far Harbor. I still kind of mess around with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, you seem to be really liking that.
Yeah, I got tired of that one. Had to come off of it though. Started to get kind of repetitive, and then I got the Star Wars fucking flying one. I think it might be. It's not Rogue Squadron. It might be Rogue Squadron. It's one of the newer flying one. It's all right. And I was going through an old retro game called Turok 2. I got about halfway through it and I got stuck. So I stopped playing that. I got to go back and figure that. I missed a key or something somewhere to unlock a level. And then I'm trying to think what else I was playing. I like all the Tomb Raider games. I got them all for Xbox. So I'll kind of go through those every now and then. I'll revisit like Tomb Raider.
I kind of like watching those too. Like,
yeah.
I guess there's something like the music is kind of relaxing also.
Yeah.
DJ Maniac said maybe the quote was, "A naked man fears no pickpocket."
No. No. It's see if I can find it. It was on eBay.
Man, I believe in you. I believe in you, stream. You can do it.
You're gonna have to reset it.
Am I?
I think so. No, it's back.
Is it?
It's back on. Yeah.
I don't trust it.
It's a trip, man.
I don't trust it.
It's back.
Maybe we moved around too much.
No, I don't think that's what it is. Because we've been streaming for a long time.
2 hours and 19 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the shows we've done are like fucking 3 hours. I don't know. It's just
and they
like,
all crashed.
No, the last couple we've done haven't.
Yeah.
And they've gone like 3 or 4 hours.
As soon as it starts doing that, it lets you know that it's getting ready to crash.
Well, yeah, that's what I keep telling. But you were
Yeah.
like, no, no, no.
It's back on.
I was like, no, I know how it goes.
It's back on.
Okay.
Um,
We'll see.
yeah. What did they ask me something else? I don't remember. Yeah, that happened because Seagal got pissed off.
Every time we start shitting on Steven Seagal controls the internet.
Hell yeah. Shut that shit down. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Could be.
They're destroying my image. So my public image is a very good image, and they keep fucking my image over. We've got to stop that before the world turns against me.
Oh my god.
I sure would hate to lose my career.
I mean, I guess he has a career of a sort.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still making movies, kind of. He's making more movies than I'm making. Oh, it crashed again.
Yeah. He has fans.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a fan base. It's weird.
Sure. You know.
Yeah. It's not crashed down here.
Okay, well, we're just gonna keep on talking.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I also like Zach's idea that we can make a David Miscavige action figure.
Yeah.
We'll make him like really, really small.
He'd have to be a small one and do with a little bitty stuff.
That'd be really funny.
Gotta do.
He'll be really, really tiny.
David Miscavige and Tom Cruise as Scientologists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a whole Scientology line.
With their Scientology fucking suits with the fucking medals.
Can we do it? Oh, can we do an LRH one too, like with the big fucking fish lips?
Yeah.
I like
if you
that
could
idea.
find that fucking, I don't think you can find that head. You'd have to have somebody make it.
Well, you could have somebody sculpt the head, and he could have like the big lips sticking out. And you could put him on the free winds.
I don't think they sculpt them. I think they scan them. Scan a photograph in a computer program.
I mean, to be honest, it might be easier to do like a Lego figure, like because then you can just like paint it on there, kind of.
Miscavige would be the way to go if you could get that head.
Well, he just looks like, I mean, to me, he just kind of looks like generic white guy.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean?
No, he doesn't. That's in your mind. He looks like he's weird.
Well, he
looking.
looks like evil generic white guy.
He's weird looking.
Like bad guy in an 80s
He looks
movie.
he looks like the dude who starred in the Scientology movie, Battlefield Earth. You know, the little caveman guy. He looked like that. I think they chose that
he
actor
looked like him
because he looked like David Miscavige.
I can't even remember what that guy looked like.
That
Have I
way-
ever even sat through that whole movie all the way through? I don't think I have. I don't have the patience for that kind of shit.
I actually like that movie. I like that movie. Of course I think that movie's hilarious. I'd like to buy that on Blu-ray.
Well, it is hilarious, but not. Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be hilarious, evidently. They got very offended when people just thought it was funny. I guess the movie had to be serious.
Battlefield Earth had problems.
The
first problem is that it was a movie fucking made by Scientology, which people were already turned against it, especially in Hollywood. Okay, people in Hollywood were already gonna fucking laugh at that movie. All right, so that didn't help. It didn't have any friends in the regular fucking world. You know what I mean? Non-Scientologists. You know. And this was at a time when things about Scientology were coming to light.
Mm-hmm.
The timing wasn't all that good. It had kind of bad CG for the time.
It did.
It wasn't rock bottom, but it wasn't like the CG from a fucking full scale, top notch Hollywood movie of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly seen worse, but I've seen a lot better too.
Yeah. Well, they were touting this movie as like an all-star studded fucking science fiction release to rival Star Wars.
And it's like, and we're Scientologists, so obviously it's going to be the best thing ever.
It's going to be the best thing ever. And we're talking about Star Wars fucking A New Hope. They think it's going to beat that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a LRH story. He wasn't a great science fiction writer, really. You know, not at all, actually. He wasn't a great science fiction writer. And I haven't read any of his stuff, but people say that it's very pedestrian, that there's nothing really unusual about it, and that's just pulp. It's pulp writing.
Yeah, which, like I said, nothing wrong with that, but he wasn't like anything special.
Some of the artwork that Frazetta did in association with you know, Frank Frazetta did some Battlefield Earth posters. And the posters looked cool as shit. But I think that was early 80s, maybe late 70s that he did that.
Oh, I don't know.
think so. Might have been later. I think it was early 80s. I'm not sure, but I think it was older. It was not for this movie. And there was, some of the early drawings of the way Battlefield Earth was supposed to looked kind of cool. Cyborg Wookiee looking things and big fucking giant people and big giant aliens and kind of like a Flash Gordon kind of a thing. Anyway, when it came to executing the movie, it just it had some strengths and some weaknesses. I really liked some of the alien technology that they showed. They could put you in a chair and it would shoot out rays into your eyes, and you could talk to some kind of old fucking slave that they had enslaved off another planet, an alien slave that's there to teach you the language of their masters and fucking the superior high language of the something or other. I don't remember the names of the aliens.
The something or other.
The fucking badasses that had conquered Earth, And there was a lot of little details and a lot of little world-making things that were kind of good about the movie. The aliens were highly corporate, and but what's funny about it is if you understand Scientology real well, the evil aliens have a lot in common with Scientology. But then the poor humans who are like cavemen, reduced to cavemen, they have nothing to do with Scientology. But somehow this Scientology story is telling you that if you become a Scientologist, you can become freed from these evil corporations. Scientology is an evil corporation.
Yeah.
But it's more, and a lot of that is because LRH was an ex-military officer, came out of the Cold War, knew a lot about Marxism and communism. He researched a lot about fucking mind control stuff that the Soviets were doing and the United States were doing. He was also a bullshit artist, and he could kind of mix it all together. And he knew that a good attack is to claim to be exactly what you aren't. In other words, if you're an oppressive, evil corporation, claim that everyone else is an oppressive, evil corporation. Projection. So that's how Scientology gets into you, is it projects.
Like those are the bad guys.
Those are the bad guys.
We're not like that.
We're not like that. Those are the bad ones. They're trying to enslave you, not us. and that's
how they get you.
Right. And that's the tactic in fucking psychological warfare. So, and the Chinese were big into it with like Maoism. They had Maoist kind of mind control going on. And LRH was a nerdy, he'd geek out on all that shit. So they understood propaganda, and Scientology is it's a huge, beautiful monument to fucking corporate propaganda.
They're just not super good at it because
not anymore.
Like everybody can see through.
Not anymore. But no, I think they were very good at it.
They might have been good at it.
They were very good at it until the age of the internet. Because with the internet, victims of the establishment of this thing could communicate with other victims, and they could figure out what the MO was and bring that to light to the general public. So before you got involved with Scientology, you just check Scientology's rep online, and you're going to find out what Scientology is. So it lost its camouflage.
Well, and I think a lot of people too. I mean, there's been a lot of studies done since the 70s on cults and how they work.
Yeah.
And a lot of cults work in pretty much exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Because humans are the same pretty much the world over. So it's like all of the tactics they use are pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I think that the more people understood that and the more that information began to be disseminated, it was harder for them to.
But here they get to hide. But here's the more terrifying thing of that. When you really kind of analyze Scientology, yeah, it's a hokey pyramid scheme bait that comes at you like a spiritual school, kind of like the Jedi, where you leveling motherfuckers up, you're turning a motherfucker into a wizard, or turning a motherfucker into a Jedi. It's also a UFO cult. That's its attack on you.
Yeah.
All right. That's what it uses on you. But that's not really what it is. The entire organization, in a way, is a copy of a state intelligence organization. All right, it's a lot like a state intelligence organization. OSHA is what it is. They have their own intelligence organization, so it's kind of like the KGB or the CIA or something. And what's weird is that the intelligence organizations a lot of times recruit cults to work for them. Totally documented, especially in Central and South America. Up here in the United States, they were doing it because they'll get a cult to do its dirty work for you, for an intelligence organization. Same thing, they'll deal with drug cartels too. Same fucking thing. So a lot of this particular cult modeled itself after a military or a paramilitary or a government type of intelligence organization. Weird. But so did Howard Hughes's personal security. That's another thing you look at.
Yeah.
Howard Hughes's personal security modeled itself after the FBI and the CIA. Just to watch his girlfriends. Weird shit. And he had so much money and was defending his empire, he got better than the FBI. The FBI couldn't crack his security. Which goes to show you that if you have money and good leadership and focus, you can beat any government.
Well, the thing about it, though, is that it's like, so, like you said, he had the money and he also had the focus.
Yeah.
He didn't have to worry about, like,
right.
all these different things, like, to keep track of. And it's like, we have to, like, thin out our resources to take care of this, that, and the other thing. He didn't have anything to take care of except for his own self-interest.
Yeah.
So the fact that he could spend all his money doing that meant that, obviously that, that he wasn't going to be able to be fucking beat in that regard.
Yeah. But in the Cold War, coming out of military academies, being in the military, watching the collapse of the Soviet Union, finding out everything about how the fuck in the years following, what it was really like. Really fucking, that was peanuts compared to shit that's around today. It's peanuts. It's in the late 80s that I remember most of it. They had some kind of a hearing. Women came forward. I think the women came forward that said that they were in the call them. You could adopt a foster care system. They were in the foster care system as sent to these compounds where they were them and turned them into underage sex operatives. And then evidently a lot of them were killed and everything on it. And they evidently paid the women off and they vanished. And it was something that the intelligence agencies they were entrapment thing. And this, remember that case where these women
separate like truth from fiction.
I found it on YouTube. They actually had like a Senate hearing. These women testified in front of the Senate. There was like 3 of them with their attorneys and told the whole story. The Senate didn't say shit. They didn't even fight against what they said. They just said thank you, and they paid them off. And that whole case got memory hold. But they paid them off. They settled with them. So it happened. And it was something having to do with what I was saying is that the American intelligence agencies going back into the Cold War, starting off in the 50s, they were much worse than the KGB. Much worse. Even the KGB was bad. But these guys were more scientific about this evil. It had to do with mind control. Mind control and getting dirt on people. And black money. I mean, fucking doing shit with poppy fields in Afghanistan and weird stuff happening in Central America with the fucking Contras and with the Contras down there in Nicaragua and with cocaine trade and stuff. Because you see, you have to have untraceable money to do a lot of these special operations. So what's called black funding has a lot to do with it. In other words, they're involved with drug trafficking and to raise this invisible funding that they need to do these special operations in the name of national security. But let me ask you this. Is it really national security, or are they just lining their pockets with it? You know what I mean?
I imagine it's probably the second thing.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. They give you that power and everything, and now you have the power to get free money that's totally untraceable. That would corrupt a lot of people. That'd be a great government gig to have. So now you have these guys that have the ability to fucking bust down your doors, accuse you of a crime, take all your fucking property, say you're a drug dealer, plant drugs on you, and then vanish your fucking ass into a privately owned prison somewhere in goddamn Romania as a terrorist, and then they pocket all your shit and no accountability. You know what I mean? It's just it's dangerous.
Well, shit, man, that's been
Dangerous.
going on for fucking centuries. That's what they used to do
It's
to like the
just-
women they did in the fucking witch trial.
Yeah, it's what it goes. So what
She's
I'm
a
saying
witch.
is,
We're gonna we're gonna like fucking torture her, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
like take all her shit.
take all her shit. So what I'm saying is that there hasn't really been progress, only the illusion of progress, and the crimes are a lot more sophisticated now. And I think people are slowly kind of waking up to this.
We haven't crashed, right?
No,
Because my shit crashed over here.
no, we're good.
Like my streaming thing is still going,
oh,
but
but all
my
the comments.
I can't. Yeah, so I can't
All
see anybody's.
Here, you can read. You can read. The
I
comments
can't
if you
see
want.
the chat at this point.
Can you read that?
Nope.
Okay.
You tell me if there's like anything going on that I need.
These
to
nets
answer.
at top TRT went airborne. Man, shut the fuck up.
He's infecting everyone with that shit.
Okay, so Tom put in a comment. You guys are down. Oh, no, we're back. Any rich listeners want to donate a bomb ass laptop to them? Yeah, good question. That's a good one. They're going, yeah, I'm broke. You know,
Yeah, me
might
too.
buy some Raycon earbuds. See what people do. Straw Dog says CIA equals the Department of Dirty Deeds. Yeah, black operations. You know, it's black for a reason because the shit's illegal. They're talking about the military and Tila says, also, did everyone hit the like button yet? Don't forget. Yeah, I got to hit the like button. Yeah, I hit the like button.
Well, thank you. See, we have to remind you every
Yeah.
single time. I can't do it because it's like, oh, okay.
Chat's still going.
Yeah, it kind of, well, I lost it.
Yeah.
But my streaming program is still going. My OBS is still going. Every now and then it stops. But
We lost a lot of viewers with that last kind of stumble. It went from 50 down to 35 because a lot of people thought they were like, we're losing them. They left.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly though, I'm glad I didn't like, restart the shit to do, because it did come back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I lost my chat. Like my YouTube just kind of went black over there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have anything else you would like to discuss?
Not really. I mean, we've been chatting for hours. We can
I mean,
let
it's
go.
almost 3 hours.
Yeah, we can let people go.
And I feel like I'm almost at the bottom of my third drink.
And I got to go get Pookie anyway.
And we got to go find Pookie. It's not quite dark yet.
But it's good to see you guys. Fucking T, man, go see Red Sun. I know. Fuck all that fucking Zack Snyder cut, man. I mean, that's supposed to be a great movie, but that shit's fucking 3 hours long. Just watch.
She said earlier that you should like just wear your Depends.
Where am I? Depend. What you talking about?
The adult diapers.
Why?
Because the movie's really long and you can't leave in the middle to go to the
That
bathroom.
I should wear the Depends.
No,
Like,
just I'm talking the royal we.
Oh, okay.
The royal you.
All right, yeah. I'm not royal. I'm common.
You as in everyone
Right.
should wear Depends because
Yeah.
the movie's really long.
Well, no, you can just pause that shit and go take a pee. Take a piss and come back out.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, well, back in the old days when you
Yeah.
had to see things in the theater, hopefully, like, something that was that long, you'd have an intermission. in the
Zack
middle, so
Snyder
everyone
is a
can, like,
cock. Fucking Geeks and Gamers had him on. And fucking they were the ones that really got the Zack Snyder cut out. And he was, first of all, I'd like to I disavow Geeks and Gamers. We're not associated with them guys. And I just want to stop the hate. Called him a fucking hate group. Fucking stupid bitch. I'm glad that even though his original vision for that fucking movie was great, that dude's still a fucking prick. All these old Hollywood dudes need to go. They're all fucking outdated. They're controlled by somebody somewhere. They're all getting fucking money, political money, and these fucking studios are full of shit. And they're all gonna go out of business anyway. Nobody's watching their shit like they were. The shareholders are gonna fucking fire them. I'm done. I'm done.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
So
You glad to
everybody,
hear that I'm done?
yeah.
You just
No, what I was gonna say is that it's okay. So it's Wednesday night now. If you're a patron, tomorrow morning you'll be able to get early access to our movie retrospective. Like I said, we had to do a backup because of the situation with what happened with Old Boy, which was the movie that won the Patreon poll this week. So I put up a review that we did of Audrey Rose because that was one that we watched. So you'll be able to see that one. However, I do think my copy of Old Boy is going to be here tomorrow or Friday. So we should be able to have a review of that up. I'm thinking by at least Saturday we should be able to have that up. Because if it comes Friday, we can watch it like Friday night or... No, I guess we can't watch it Friday night because we're doing the show. But we can watch it like Saturday afternoon and like do a review of it. And then I can upload it. So I'm kind of hoping like before the weekend is over, like the review of Old Boy should be up. Because I think the movie is coming before then. So don't fret. But you will have a couple of movie reviews this week, just because, like I said, I had to do a backup because I didn't know if I'd be able to access that movie. So I guess we're gonna like go now because I'm afraid that the shit's gonna crash. My
Eventually it
YouTube
will.
crashed a long time ago.
Yeah.
I can't even see anybody's chat anymore, and it's like really.
No, they're all doing good.
Yeah.
Oh, we did get a
Oh, we did.
a super chat right there.
Tell me. Gadgy3 is fine, and it just says thanks with a little thank you very much, Gadgy3. Yeah, so you know. So
not everybody. T says she's gonna watch fucking Empty Man again. Isn't Empty Man?
Yeah, the Empty Man.
Empty Man.
Like I said, we didn't talk. I kind of put that in the
good.
title because, like I said, I never know what we're gonna talk about on these, so I have to put something in the title. But yeah, you should go see that. I kind of feel like
Well, she's seen it before. She's gonna watch it a second.
yeah, like I said, it's good because it's better to go into it not really knowing that much about it. It kind of goes in some interesting directions that you're not going to expect. I mean, at least I didn't expect it to go in those directions.
Yeah.
You know what
Now,
I'm saying?
Danny mentioned some shit that I want to mention something. We were talking about UFOs earlier, and he's bringing the UFO subject back up.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, this is something that another thing that adds to the fact that the Phoenix Lights was fucking true. Danny mentions it right here. Kurt Russell was one of the very first witnesses of the fucking Phoenix Lights.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying that.
Kurt Russell, he didn't know what it was. He saw it at a distance. And he reported it and logged it in. Called the fucking tower. He said he saw a group of lights over there. In the
Can you imagine how awesome that would have been to be like the dispatcher and be like, "Hey, this is Kurt Russell, and I just saw a fucking UFO."
Russell, of course, Russell flies fucking airplanes, man. He fucking flies airplanes. And he's flying around in his little fucking propeller plane. But he saw something. He said it looked strange. It was big and it was a distance. He didn't know what it was.
I love that variety.
And he called him in. He says, "There's some lights out there." And the fucking tower was like, "We don't see anything on the radar." He says, "I see them."
Well, it's like, well, I see it. I don't
Yeah, he says, "I see it. It's over there." And they go, "Okay, thank you."
Thank you, Kurt Russell. Bye.
Thank you, Kurt Russell. And
Love
that was the Phoenix Lights. Yeah.
But like you said, he didn't know that till later.
Yeah, T says so many people saw the Phoenix, and they all called in to fucking 911 all at the same time as it went over.
That's the one thing that kind of makes me feel like, well, I'm not saying that it was necessarily extraterrestrial, but there was obviously something there because a lot of people, you know, that didn't know about one another, like called in about it as it moved.
Too many people saw it, and it did change the formation a couple times, the numbers of the lights, and it was, whatever it was cloaked. Because they said they could see it.
We're going to do a show on it one of these days. We're going to do a whole show about it.
And some people were out in the neighborhood, out in the neighborhood, you know, and the dude fucking swore up and down. It went over his house. He said it was over a mile wingspan. It was flying pretty low, and he says it was an extraterrestrial craft. He's just like, it was. And then the governor, Fife Simonton, came out. Later on, he says, "Yeah, I saw it." And he said he thought it was an extraterrestrial craft, said it was big. And then the dude who saw it fly over his house, the famous witness, kind of the pudgy guy, chubby guy, he went, "That bitch is lying. He didn't see it. He didn't see it." It's fucking funny. He says, "I saw it, but he didn't see it." And he had reasons why. I don't remember what his reasons were. But he thought Fife Simonton was trying to lie and join the crowd. But he didn't think he saw it. He said the time was wrong. The time in which he claims to have seen it, it couldn't have been. And the way he described it or something, he said he didn't see it.
UFO bitch fight.
It was a UFO bitch fight. Men are some of the biggest bitches of them all.
Men are the biggest bitches.
You think that's something?
They are.
You don't have the authority to say that, though. You're a woman.
What do you mean I don't have the
Only a
authority
man
to say
can
that?
call other men a bitch and the biggest bitches
Oh,
of them all.
bullshit. I don't like
Then
that.
women get involved in that shit, saying, "Oh, the men are the biggest bitches." Also, well, hold on, you're stepping outside. You're stepping outside the territory.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is going back to what we were joking.
Sexism.
Well, no, this is what we were going back earlier about, like how we're joking. We were always joking about like how, like on a haunting, for example, like
Tina says she underscores that shit.
Yeah, right. We're like, see, I'm telling you, we're just we're speaking from our personal experience. So when you like shit on that, you're essentially doing what the dude on a haunting is doing and saying women don't know how
things work.
Senses work, or they don't know how reality works, or they don't know how their own perceptions work. You're questioning our perception.
Women don't know what gross looks like.
From my perception, I'm not saying that everyone's perception is like this, but from my perception, all the dudes that I've known, I have a couple of brothers, I have like, you know, I've had many male friends. Dudes are bigger bitches generally than women are.
T says yes, Jenny. Yes.
They are.
Yeah. Women don't know what ghosts look like. They don't know how to see ghosts. They don't know how to see UFOs. Women don't know how to do it.
We don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to. Women don't know how to witness.
We're completely useless and stupid. We don't know how anything works.
That's bullshit.
We need everything
I'm just playing.
explained.
You know
We
I'm
need
just playing.
everything explained to us by a man, obviously, because
I'm just. I'm
we
playing.
just wouldn't know what to do otherwise.
I'm playing.
I mean, otherwise we would just lay
That
around
never
and
happens
like
in
not.
real. That never happens in real life, though. If you told me you saw some weird shit, I'd go, really? I mean, I'm not like that. If
You
said-
better be like that,
if you
because
said-
if I told you, like,
name one time I did that.
you know, well, I'm just saying that it's like, if you know how rational I am.
Yeah.
So if I saw some weird shit
Oh, yeah,
and I
I'd be
told
like-
you and I was scared and I
I'd be
saw some
like,
weird
yeah.
shit, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that shit's for real because I don't play.
Well, you said you heard that doorbell ring in the middle of the night, and I wasn't too sure, but
Well, you didn't believe me at first.
Yeah, but the thing, I thought you were asleep, though. I thought you were asleep.
No, well, what
Then
happened?
you get
Well, here's
treated.
what happened with that. I heard the doorbell and I was willing and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I was awake and I'm pretty sure I heard that. But I said to myself, I'm willing to admit that maybe I imagined it. Maybe I dreamed it. So I just laid there. 30 seconds later, the doorbell rang again.
Yeah.
And then I woke you up.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
was like,
wasn't
what?
sure the first time. I
very-
was sure, but I was willing to.
When she told me what was going on, I was kind of fucking spooked.
I said, no, I heard it again.
I was naked and shit. I fucking grabbed down. I grabbed down a pistol and went out there and fucking tried to figure it, looking, and I was fucking being all tactical. I didn't walk up to the door. I was trying to look out
Yeah,
the
he
window.
was going around the side.
I was keeping in the darkness, trying to see
I
if
wouldn't
there
have
was
woke you
anybody
up
out
otherwise, seriously.
There.
If it
Nobody
hadn't
out there.
rung again,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have woke you up.
And then a few days later, the goddamn fucking the garage door opened. That was weird.
Well, and a few days later too, the back patio
Back
door,
patio door was open.
was open
And the cat's looking
by
at it.
itself
Yeah,
with
that
the
was during that poltergeist
Yeah.
thing. It was weird.
with the what do you call it,
yeah,
that lock?
it
What do you
was
call
locked
that lock?
and it was open.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't just locked; it was deadbolted.
It was deadbolted.
The
and
deadbolt
door
was
open.
still, and it was
It's
still out,
engaged, but it was open. The door
and
was open.
we never opened that.
Never opened that door.
I got up to go to work. Everyone else was still asleep. You were
Yeah.
still asleep.
It was weird.
All the cats were asleep. Everyone
Yeah.
was asleep.
My hair kind of stood up,
Yeah, it was creepy.
and the cats were sitting there watching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I called you. You
I
open
know.
that back door? You're like, no. And I said,
Nope.
and I was just like, how the fuck did that open?
Yep.
It was still locked.
Telling you,
Some weird shit.
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, is it still going? Because
It's still going. It's time to
my
get
shit
time for us to
crashed.
go.
All right, so okay, mine came back. This was
Yeah.
like fucking. I'm glad it didn't like go out completely
It's back.
because it was My shit's doing all kind of crazy
Yeah.
shit. But we went almost 3 hours. That's good. I'm glad I didn't like turn the shit off because it did actually come back after a while. We were buffering for a while. But yeah, thanks everybody for dropping by. Thanks everybody that donated. What?
She just says, she quotes me, I'm not like that, says the dude that is like that. I'm getting the
Oh
fuck
my
out of
God,
it.
she
I'm getting the
knows.
fuck- I'm getting the
She-
fuck out of it.
oh my
I'm
God, you
getting the fuck
totally
out of
called
it.
it. Says the dude that is
Said
like
the
that.
dude that is like that.
Yeah,
She got me.
yeah, she did. She
I'm not
nailed
like
it.
that.
You are though.
Okay.
Look, there's bitches don't even know you, and they
Bitches.
like they calling that. You are kind of like that.
Yeah, and they're fucking cheering her on and shit. Fucking
Maybe you
bitches.
don't-
I'm shutting the show
You
down.
don't
That's
even
it. No
you don't
more
even
show.
know that you're like that.
No more show for you. No more show for you. bitch. That's it. No more show.
Aw, don't
No
bad.
more show.
Sounds
She's
bad.
having see time I got you. Okay. All right.
He's like, I'm taking my drink up because fuck you guys, I'm going home. He's going.
I'm going home. I am home.
Yeah, we're already home. All right. So thanks guys for dropping by. We will be back. Oh shit. We will be back on Friday evening talking about killer kids. That'll be a fun show. But yeah, thanks everybody for dropping by. Thank you for everyone who donated, and we will see you on Friday night. Bye.